Welcome back to Target Locked, the Dropverse podcast. You're here with me, Alex.
Me, Dan.
And Milos.
And for anyone new here, this is our not Dropverse, our Commanderverse podcast. So we cover Dropfleet Commander, Dropzone Commander, Strike Team Commander when it happens, Battlezone Commander when it happens, any of the spin-off games, and a little bit of things like Carnivale on the side as well, because we're also pretty into that at the moment. Basically what we're going to do, we're going to run through any news that has happened. It's actually been not that long since our last podcast. I mean, Loz, you and I we had an emergency GenCon podcast
in the middle of GenCon.
In the middle of GenCon. And also covering Operation Artemis and its impact on Dropzone. Then the other half of GenCon happened and a few more things came out.
Yeah.
And now here we are filming what will be going up on the 18th of August for some very exciting and important Dropfleet news. So yeah, it's not been that long at all. How are you guys? Because Dan, we've not had you on the podcast since we had Dave, have we?
We haven't. No, that's been a while. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Been doing a bit of hobby. Had a bit of a push to get my patrician gang finished, and then had a little bit of hobby burnout. So just waiting for the mojo to replenish. Seems to be coming back.
Okay.
So I've started sticking together my next Carnivale gang.
Yes, I did see you start work on it, which will be exciting to see, because it's technically the same gang as mine, but very, very different with zero model overlap.
Sweet, I see.
Yeah. Loz, how have you been?
Very good. I've set myself a stupid additional project on painting my fish. Nearly got them finished. I've just decided 18 rolling. So, well, why not?
Good. You don't do things by half measures, do you?
Well, when people start not liking war spears, we've got to change things up.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. It's a bit of a witch hunt going on at the moment, and
I'll just get them after rolling next, and we'll just keep swapping.
It turns out the really good models are actually just the ones that Loz likes, because it might just be that he's actually good at Dropzone. We'll make you play UCM eventually.
It's the plan, and then we'll get them nerfed, and it'll be all good in the world.
Yeah. But yeah, cool. So we're going to go through obviously the main topic shortly, which is the big Dropfleet news. But a couple of things we like to go through first. Let's kick off with our hobby updates. I'll go first. This is me cheating because it's not new, but because I think I had finished this in the previous episode. But I took some nice photos of my recently finished guild gang. So these are the Fisherman's Guild for Carnivale. And they had their debut on the channel. We filmed it a few weeks ago. Of Fisherman's Guild versus the Rashar.
That's the fish.
Yep. And that'll be going up shortly as the start of our next campaign. Disciples of an Old God? Does that ring a bell?
That sounds right. Yeah. Old God something.
Yeah. Something along those lines. Should be a good time. I'm trying to steal Loz's eggs. I think it's the way we adapted the scenario to fit our collections.
They're obviously very different to the Strigoi. Without giving too many spoilers, how have you found them to play?
Oh, it's like night and day. It's actually a little upsetting how I feel like I've been playing Carnivale on hard mode by playing Strigoi, who they punch hard. And that's it. At least my Strigoi. There's no magic, there's no range, there's no command point shenanigans, there's no will point regen. They just hit really hard and hope it's enough. And you very obviously telegraph what you're doing, whereas this guild gang feels like a fine piece of clockwork with all these interlocking, regenerating will points, regenerating command points, and buffs on that character, and a buff that benefits that character. I've got ranged weapons. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame. It's a bit bittersweet because I really do like my Strigoi, but the guild are a breath of fresh air, and I've really had fun playing them. I'll be interested to have not a rematch per se, but to try them out against your patricians, Dan, because again, no spoilers for how the most recent campaign went, but let's say I was on the back foot for most of it.
Look forward to it.
it did feel like bringing teeth to a gunfight. So that's technically not a new thing. This is technically new, but not impressive. I painted a few more bits of terrain for Carnivale. This is from Loz, a second set of the wooden jetties and roof, or well, not an awning, but a roof over one of the big panels. I just sawed it in half to make a pair of awnings, and so they can now just basically go against basically any terrain piece and add a bit more verticality, a bit more flavour.
You added the tiles as well.
I did, yeah. The tiles are corrugated card, which works really well.
Looks really well. Yeah.
The only issue with these is that, again, no spoilers for the actual game result, but Loz and I did play a game with one of these, and basically 3/4 of the battle took place underneath it.
We just didn't like the sun.
So he ended up taking it off halfway through the game and going, it looks cool, it's in the way. Which
Your guild secretly are vampires still. So,
absolutely, yeah. That's the fluff. And I've done some jetties to go with them as well. And then there's this. This is completely unrelated to any war game whatsoever. But Loz, myself, and a couple of friends are chewing our way through a campaign of Kingdom Death Monster, which is a massive, great, big, silly board game that's basically Dark Souls plus Berserk plus Monster Hunter plus Berserk again. It wears its influences on its sleeve.
Yeah.
But I usually end up playing the Scout, who's the kind of the party support who just carries around their luggage, and finally got around to actually painting a model for myself. So this is the Scout with his massive backpack and his lantern, which was fun to do and took like an evening, which is nice. The only issue with it, I'm really, really, really happy with his non-metallic metal knee pads he's got. I have no idea how I did them.
just look, right?
Well, I tried to replicate it on one of the lanterns on his back that you obviously can't see in this photo. Couldn't. Use the same paints, completely different finish. Don't know what I did differently. Really annoying. But
Just a fugue state of painting at night, right?
Yeah, exactly. Apparently I bottled lightning for those knees, and that's it. But yeah, I think that's me. Oh, here we go. Now we're into Dan. Dan, what is this?
Oh, yes, that goofy little chap is a Megalodon from Man O' War.
I mean, we can see there, like, that's what, 30, 40 millimeters across the base?
Yeah, so Man O' War's a tiny scale naval combat game that GW did back in the early 90s. Really great rule set. Some of the models are amazing, some of them are very much showing their age.
I mean, is this metal? Is this pewter? Or...
Yep.
Yeah.
So I've stuck it to an MDF base. I'll be putting some water effects over the base. But fundamentally, all of the sea monsters are hanging out with as much of their body protruding from the surface as possible, because how else can you see where they are on the table?
I guess otherwise you have a base and, I don't know, like a dorsal fin, maybe.
Easier to paint like that.
I mean, there is that, sure. Yeah, very cool. Very charming, I think is the word I'm looking for. It is delightful, and that is a very, very old model, which you've done very well with.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nice having a little thing that you can just blitz through in a short evening.
Yeah.
And yes, I've ignored the huge pile of part assembled PHR, and I've jumped into assembling my next Carnivale gang, which is Strigoi, without any vampires.
This is the Romani caravan, I think, isn't it? That's
Exactly. So yeah. So all of the Romani, so lots of magic. I mean, even the henchmen Romani are mage.
Wow.
Have mage special rule, and then some werewolves to go with them.
Yeah, because the actual Romani themselves aren't especially good fighters.
Not so much, no.
But you make up for that with werewolves.
Oh yes.
Yes,
I was sitting and working out how many buffs you can layer and what ridiculousness you can get them up to, and then was upset to discover that you can only have 10 attacks as a maximum.
But the fact you're hitting that maximum is horrifying.
You're hitting that maximum quite easily.
Okay. Good, excellent.
We'll team up against these ones, yeah?
Yeah, no, you have to fight Dan next. Dan is scarily good,
okay.
kind of. So especially when playing a gang with lots of moving parts. So we'll make you fight the Strigoi, or fight the Romani.
I'll look forward to it.
I do like as well. You've got from the looks of it a Man of War narwhal as well in the background.
Yes.
Again, technically in the water.
It's a result, right? You know?
Yeah, it's Behemoth is the name for that character, but yeah.
Right. Lots. You mentioned this.
It's 80 Ronin.
Yeah.
Not particularly exciting, painted wise, but that's the next project. It's going to be a great list, I think.
Jesus Christ. Are those metal? Did you snipe those off eBay somewhere?
Yeah. That was a pack that was sold as a single pack. So, you standard 6 and it had 18 in.
Okay.
So it was a good find on eBay.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah. But they're all gun Ronin, which I don't particularly use, but I think they're good.
You've got one
6
with
energy 10 shots for 75 points.
You've got one there with a sword, haven't you? On the far left.
Oh yeah. Well, they're the bodyguards for my my Dynamo.
Oh, okay.
So I made a special Ronin one, so you need some bodyguards now.
Of course. Yeah. Horrifying. I don't know what to do about 18 Ronin. I think you're taking it for a test drive tomorrow, aren't you, actually, at time of recording?
Yeah. So 6 sword Ronin, and the rest made out of gun Ronin, but for 18 in total.
I mean, it's thematically cool. I can picture them just striding down the street, firing at things.
Mhm.
Obviously, you don't do that. That's suicide. But it sounds cool.
I think it could work. Once your buildings are destroyed, you're walking in the streets, and there's still a lot of bodies to shoot.
I suppose. I mean, any
I think level the building they're in.
Yeah.
I prefer to be in the building. If I can get in the building, I'll be in the building. But I don't know if the buildings will last these to kill in them.
You are up against resistance with a player renowned for demolishing every single building he can see. So yeah, the award-winning urban planner, I think, from Danger Close 3, 2, whichever one it was.
Buildings aren't going to be sticking around, but these guys are great at killing buildings as well. Infinite range, energy 10, 2 shots each.
That'll do it. I'll get there.
Yeah.
And then some models from actual paint. What?
It's a more bizarre, but I refuse to use humans in my fish list.
Okay.
So these are some foxy fish representing humans. So one is the banner bearer, so like this command point buffing, and one is the pointy stick human who pokes the big fish to make them move faster.
I see.
Which are 2 things I realised in our last game I was desperately in need of.
You were playing with half a deck, I think, in that you had the monsters, but none of the monster support stuff. That's just a really clever way to fix it, because, they're still very clearly horrific fish monsters rather than people. But they're also clearly different to the normal, lesser...
Yeah, I like the cultist stuff's cool, but I want a pure fish, and I think I might then build a human list after, but it's quite different.
Okay, so build into it with a different set of models.
A different paint scheme and stuff, yeah.
Speaking of paint scheme, the colour scheme you've gone for works really nicely. It was really nice to actually see him in the flesh. The kind of iridescent... do I mean iridescent? Pearlescent, even.
Pearlescent, yeah.
Yeah, works really well.
I think it's coming out. I've got, it's not in the picture, but you won't be able to see it great on the web. But this little gross guy, because he's round, it's come off the glow.
Oh, that looks really well, yeah.
And it's disgusting, which is great. I don't know what it's called. It's just the weird slug monster. It's cool.
I look forward to playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I've got a couple of pictures from the other 2 who weren't able to be here. So these are recently finished by Smaller Dan, Little Dan. Again, going to keep calling him Little Dan until he objects. We got Operation Artemis from TC Combat. Thank you, by the way. Which we then split. So the fauna went to you, Loz, to get painted up, and Dan got the walkers, which he's painted up quite rapidly. So you and I actually had a game of Operation Artemis the other week. That'll be going up shortly too, and you'll be able to see these on the channel. They are very cool. They're really quite imposing as well.
Mhm.
He's
Very
done
nice
a really good
post.
job. Posing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read the pose on the guy at the front. No, I can't remember his name. The red torso guy. Done a good job with them. And then Gareth couldn't be here either, but he recently decided he wanted to repaint his whole PHR fleet. It's apparently a trend for people on this channel to just spontaneously repaint entire collections. But yeah, his PHR were previously white. He wasn't happy with white, so I don't think he repainted the rest of them, but he fully repainted the hulls. This glossy yellow or yellowy orange colour. I think by painting them pink, transitioning to white first, and then yellow glaze over the top.
Okay.
Yeah, they worked really well. We have a game with them coming up shortly. I don't know what the release date will be, but that'll be his new PHR versus his new Shaltari, which will also be showing their debut on the channel. So watch this space.
He does paint stuff at an incredible rate.
He does, yeah. It's quite intimidating.
And that's saying something from Alex, right?
I mean, I've expressed this before. I'm not a quick painter. I just don't do anything else with my time. In terms of number of layers of paint put down per hour, I'm actually quite slow. I just spend a lot more hours doing it than most people. But yeah, we'll be seeing them on the channel shortly, and along with his other recent projects, because he's been working on lots of other things that we actually can't really talk about yet. So, yeah, that's our hobby update. And then the other thing we like to do for every episode is just a quick kind of community shout out or community spotlight, where each of us have just rummaged through the various Facebooks and the Discords and our email potentially, looking for basically cool pictures of drop first stuff we found, and then show them to people and name names and praise the cool stuff we found. So it's just going to go back to the first one. Yes, here we go. So I think there's a few. Most of them are ones I found, and there are a couple from each of you as well. These are nukes by Ava, assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly, on the Dropfleet Discord. And they speak for themselves. For the record, I do try to find stuff other than UCM, but every time I look, I find really cool looking UCM ships.
It's just a bias.
They do look good. I love the little lightning effect going between the prongs as well.
Yeah, I'd love to know how they did that. I mean, maybe that's wire, perhaps? But
Maybe.
It adds so much, because these don't do any damage. They literally cannot deal damage, but they just cause status effects on the things they zap with their electronic warfare weapons. Yeah, that lightning effects worked really well. The engine glow on the back is fantastic.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Would love to see a whole fleet of these on the table. It'd be spectacular. But also just the hull as well. Like, the special effects aside, the hull's really nicely painted. And some more subtle glow effects along the fuselage. Do ships have fuselages? Probably not. Along the hull as well.
Yeah, from like the lights at the front as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, really nice work, Ava. Looking forward to seeing more of that fleet. Dan, this was your pick. This is not a spaceship.
That was. Yes, it is not. This is from, as you can see from the caption, John BW on the Carnivale Discord. This is what helped me shake off the last of my hobby burnout and got me inspired to start doing things, because I really want to try doing a similar sort of object source lighting with all the magic effects that the Romani can throw around. But yeah, this has been amazing to see a couple of their models come together. And one of the next photos might be the work in progress shot of. Did you include the work in progress one?
I only grabbed these two, I'm afraid. So we've got this one with the modified torch, and the other fire breather.
Okay, yeah, they did a work in progress shot of this, and their approach to doing object source lighting is radically different to anything I've seen before, where they do all the lighting first, and then block in all of the colours around it and modify the colours.
Oh,
I've
okay.
always done it and always seen it done the other way round.
Yeah, that's how I do
But-
it. I basically
yeah.
paint the model normally and then build up the light source afterwards. Yeah, that's really evocative. It works really well, and it looks like it helps with one of the main challenges I find with OSL, which is trying to figure out where on the model should be the true color. If that makes sense. Like if you've got someone say standing lit by moonlight from here, then that should be blue, and lit by a torch they're holding here, that should be orange. And they're wearing a green shirt. Which part of the shirt should be green? I don't know how to figure that out. I always find I do it wrong. Whereas this approach looks like it actually fixes that. We've got clearly the red sash, we've got the blue on the bottle as well, or green on the bottle. The hair is clearly brown, but also works with those lights.
Yeah, really lovely stuff.
Yeah. I'll have to try and find that work in progress later, because I will probably try and copy it myself as well. Loads of the King of Death models are carrying lanterns around because you're in a horrible nightmare realm where the only light source you have is the lantern you're carrying. So they'd be very good for trying out that moody effect. Right, back to another one I grabbed, which I've managed to put my face directly on top of. I'm not going to try and move it because it will really confuse Discord, unfortunately.
You can see the biggest one in the middle, right?
About. There we go. I'm gone, and you can see the much more interesting Scourge light behemoth.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Can we keep doing the rest of the show with that?
I think so. I think it's a good idea. Yeah. I think you want me gone, or want me specifically replaced with a Scourge light behemoth?
Replaced with the Scourge light behemoth.
Okay. Bit difficult to do live.
We want to make these aliens more empathetic and to hear the life from their viewpoint.
Next podcast, I'll see if I can make an avatar out of one. Maybe that's a good idea. But yeah, these are by Skylifter 100 from the Dropzone Discord. They've been hard work on. I think the main thing was the latest, obviously the massive, great big behemoth. But they did, when they were done, also line up. If I can turn you guys off as well. Line up all of the walkers for Scourge from biggest to smallest, which I thought was quite cute. It's quite nice to be able to see the size difference. It's,
just needs the big behemoth now.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, he hasn't got all of them. I haven't got all of them at all.
The big behemoth's not a crab, though.
No, that's true. It hasn't got legs, has it?
No, these are all the Scourge chassis with legs.
That's a good point. Okay, all right. This checks out then. The collection is complete. But yeah, it's always nice to see, because often you look at models on the website and you can't quite tell how big they actually are, and you get something like a behemoth in your hands and go, actually, this is colossal. And you see it in scale with the other models, especially when you see it on a board as well.
Next to a building, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right, we will bring me back. I'm sorry, but again, I will try and get us a Scourge behemoth to replace me in future. I'm sure someone can give me some brain parasites. This one I dug out of the Dropfleet Discord. It's a photo by a guy called Steambot, who said his brother-in-law is not on Discord, but is a really good painter, so he wants to show it off. So, well done, Steambot's brother-in-law. We don't know your name. That's probably lots of degrees of separation, and I doubt you're watching this. But if you are, lovely work. It's a colour scheme I've never seen Shaltari in before.
Yeah, it works really well.
Yeah. I really like the choice to separate out the fins and do then that really, really bright, vibrant orange. They look like fish, basically. The teal on the, I don't know, Shaltari ship bits, but
the shield bits. Yeah,
that bit looks good. And I think, I haven't checked, haven't counted, but I think they have painted all the dots.
It's always impressive.
Always impressive, yeah. It's really weird that you choose to miss out like 1 dot in 10. I don't know why you do that.
Yeah, just to see if you're watching. Yeah, to test you.
Yeah, lovely work, Steambot's brother-in-law. Keep it up. And this I quite like. This is by a chap called Yep. And these are, I'm not sure how much justice the photo actually does it, but these are 3D printed drop sites. We've got some on the channel as well. I've had them lying around for ages after a friend printed them for us. And they're 2D, but they've got some engraved engraved, not embossed, engraved details, and then little sockets that you can put the features in. And I've been stuck for ages trying to figure out how to paint them. I think I primed them silver and then thought that doesn't make any sense. Cities aren't silver. Well, they're not predominantly silver. They're made of concrete, I guess. And then kind of ignore them and then paint something else. But from the looks of it, all Yep has done is basically just maybe dry brush them a little bit, and then I think just airbrush some city street colours onto them where the roads are, where the crossroads are, and a few other patches.
Yeah,
and done. A city
it's
at night.
Really nice way of doing.
Yeah.
On a city on a night map as well, they look really good.
Yeah, they're not going to distract from the models, which you obviously don't want them to do. But yeah, they work really, really well. They look dead simple to do. I think I've actually given them to Gareth to paint, but if he doesn't want them, I might take them back and do that because, yeah, really clever idea. Yep, nice work. And the last one is a two-parter. We've got this image from Chris. Chris, we've featured Chris on the Discord on the podcast before. He's a friend of the channel. He's been to basically all of our Dropfleet and Dropzone events as well. So we're often seeing his works in progress. But this was outstanding. Chris is famous for being the fluorescent paint guy. All of his Dropfleet and all of his Dropzone are beautifully painted, but then you shine a UV light on them and they come to life. Because everything is painted with fluorescent paints. To the point that go on.
They work incredibly well, and it looks gorgeous in its own right. And then, as you say, the UV light adds another layer to it. But he's gone one further with this.
Yeah, he has. This should work. Well, just watch. And then the UV lights.
Great.
It's just ridiculous, and it'll just loop now. Yeah, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know Dropzone, normally models don't do this. They're not normally actively posable after you've built and painted them.
He's done a lot of work. We've been seeing the images as he goes along. This trialing of different connectors.
Yeah,
to get to this point is quite impressive.
I think,
and it stays upright as well.
Yeah, it's rigid. It will stay in the position you put it in. I think he's replaced every single joint with a set of Gundam joints.
Yeah, that's right.
I think he had to use a mix because the Gundam ones worked for some of the joints, but I think he's used Lego joints for some of the other ones.
Okay.
Where different sizes work better.
That makes sense. I mean, it's insanity. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And he's not done. He has more plans for this.
Oh, isn't he upstaging you?
Yeah, he's got a bigger skyscraper.
With lights in it.
Yeah, I think are going to be black lights so it lights up.
Of course.
So if you come to our next event, right, I think it'll be there.
It certainly will be. Because we have a category for best painted single model at the events we run, and this is a very, very strong contender. It's absolutely absurd. I can't think of a better word to describe it than absurd. Well done, Chris. Cannot wait to see it in person.
Just not face it, you know.
Oh no. I won't be playing at the tournament, so this is somebody else's problem to deal with it because I don't want to fight a dragon. I've done that, and I've done my time. Thank you. I'll be admiring it from a distance with a camera.
We'll just sit and watch us for a bit now.
Yeah, we should probably move on because we do have stuff to get through. But yes, well done, Chris. So yeah, that's our hobby spotlight. If you would like to send us anything, again, before every podcast, which happens sort of infrequently when there's something to talk about, we'll usually trawl through the Facebook groups and Discord groups and whatnot, looking for, again, literally just cool pictures. If we can find it, we'll go, yeah, that's cool, grab it, and then we'll put it in the podcast. But if you want to send us something, you can tag us, you can email us. Our email is just bottomofthebarrelbatreps@gmail.com. It'll be in the description. Send us some photos, tell us what you're working on. We'd love to see literally anything Dropverse or Carnivale related. And yeah, we would be very happy to give you a shout out. If you've got like an Instagram handle or anything, we can mention that too. Yeah, we want to see the stuff you're working on, basically. Right, with that out of the way, so yeah, that is a hobby update. Shout outs done. We're on to the news. So we'll rapid fire through this. This is just we had fun. We're going to tell you about it. Most of the bottom of the barrel team went to FactoruM last weekend in Warminster for a Dropfleet tournament. Tall Dan unfortunately couldn't make it, but it was still me, Loz, Gareth. In fact, neither Dan could make it, but we did also have Sophie of former bottom of the barrel fame turning up to just play a game rather than having to worry about filming it, which was a novelty for her, I think. Yeah, it's really good. Sophie and I have been to FactoruM before for their previous event. It was fantastic, and we're very keen to go back and drag Loz and Gareth down as well.
It was a lot of fun. Lovely venue. Great staff, volunteers, great volunteers.
Yeah, it's a COC, so it's not really a shop. It's a charity, and they mostly focus on ex-armed forces, I believe, is what they're a charity for. And basically, it's Friday no money. Basically, just goes toward keeping the lights on. So none of it's for profit, but it's a really nice venue. I was going to say they specialize in niche war games. That's not true. They have basically every niche war game I can think of there. Far too many to specialize in anything. But you look around and you see cabinets full of BattleTech, and you see cabinets with Dropzone and Dropfleet. Burrows and Badgers is a game they're into, which I hadn't heard of until they mentioned it. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they had some Man of War there as well. You probably find you've got most of the UK Man of War community there.
Actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice little event. Well, sure, they do fantastic food. They are very proud of their food menu, and they really should be. They have basically a volunteer chef who makes the food, brings it out, and checks the food is okay, brings it to your table.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
And they have some more Dropzone events. There was Dropzone in September, I think.
Yep. I'm not sure there are links yet for their events, but as soon as there are, I will come back and edit this and put them in the description. But yeah, they're looking to run a Dropfleet and Dropzone event alternating basically every 3 months, I think. Which is exciting. It's great to see someone else running events. Again, it means that Gareth and I get to play rather than worrying about managing it. Yeah, speaking of, it was a pretty good showing from the bottom of the barrel team. So I managed to come third with 2 wins and a loss. Sophie came second with 3 wins, and then with 2 wins and a loss, but I think a higher strength of schedule. I'm not quite sure how their scoring worked out. It's a bit unusual. But Gareth, with 2 wins and a loss, very narrow loss against Sophie, managed to come first. And then, Loz, you also got an award, didn't you?
I got best in sport. I'll take it.
Best in sport's arguably the best awards, I think.
It felt very nice to get it. So.
Yeah.
It's only because you couldn't field 18 running.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, how many best sport awards have you got in Dropzone?
Okay. No, fine. Clearly, I'm getting so close. Right. Nice.
But
well done. It's a really good award to win.
Yeah,
and it was a really good time. Yeah.
You have, I think, on the Dropzone Discord been told off for bullying me, or not bullying me, but people complain that you bring me strong lists. So when you get your trophy, when they send it to you, because they had to, I'm going to post them.
I'll just wear it. Yeah. I'm a nice player.
Look, I have it on record.
Yeah. People enjoy playing against me.
So at least 3 people thought I was nice at the same time. But yeah, good event. We're looking forward to the next one, and we will, when we know the dates, we will have them in the description, and we'll make sure to promote them. And then other news, rapid firing through this. I keep saying rapid fire and I ramble. And here I am rambling about rambling. A couple of quick corrections from GenCon. So again, Loz and I filmed a GenCon, basically GenCon reaction video the evening of the first day of GenCon, when TTC dropped loads of reveals for Dropzone and Dropfleet. Not least of which was plastic sprues. We knew they were coming, but it was good to actually see. I mean,
Yeah.
they must be coming sooner than we thought, because the sprues
They're
are
here.
ready. Yeah.
They're getting printed, I assume, because this doesn't look like a master. It looks like a
This
in
looks like,
production copy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, a couple of corrections, because then apparently after our video, people then went and spoke to Dave Lewis the day after, and he talked a bit more about the things that are on display. So this circled thing that I thought was maybe like a tank destroyer thing for a saber hull, maybe. Apparently it's a barrel extension for the demo cannon on the broadsword.
I am seeing it more now, because it does look like it would fit in a big circle. You know, it gets smaller as it
You
goes
reckon?
along. It's like a longer range demo cannon.
I mean, Dan, you said you don't really see it.
Yeah, I mean, the barrel bit makes sense. It's how it attaches onto the turret with the demo cannon. I'm
Oh, well, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe
just
it fixes the demo cannon in a forwards position. And it like locks onto the hole, maybe.
Could
Could
be.
be.
Could be turning
or
it
I
into
could
some
see
sort
it
of tank
going
destroyer.
onto the turret directly, because that looks like it would fit. So instead of getting the short barrel and the minigun, you get a long barrel. That might work. But
That could be
Okay.
it, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Dave's
They've said
crazy
it,
talented
apparently.
at you know,
Oh, yeah.
working out these kits so different bits go together.
It goes somewhere.
Yeah.
It goes somewhere.
I'll be
And I wasn't on the reaction video. This sprue is absolutely rammed. They've got a lot of stuff on there.
yeah, they have crammed obviously 5 tanks basically. The broadsword is a tank stuck onto the end of a tank. Every existing weapon, at least one new weapon of the broadsword, at least a pair of the same new weapon for the saber hull. This barrel extendy thing could be cosmetic, or it could be an entirely new gun, in which case that's 2 new guns for the broadsword. I do like. I don't know if you noticed, Dan, that the broadsword clamps for the front tank segment are separate pieces.
I saw that. I thoroughly approve.
Yeah, so you can model them turned up, and then presumably clip them into your Condor, or you can have them modeled
I've
down.
done that on my old resin one.
See, the current resin one you can't. They are modeled down, but you also get them. You get 2 spare flaps.
Yes.
But they're
You
built
can
into the
take
hull.
them out.
Yeah,
and
I
then
suppose. Yeah, very cool to see. But again, apparently, that's a correction. Well, I guess we'll find out when it releases. And then, am I on the right thing? I think. Have I gone part? We'll come back to this in a second. There we go. This is the other image I wanted to talk about. Yeah, this is again something that Loz and I apparently got wrong. We spent ages staring at this, and I thought that the circled bit there was just the underside to a Raven. They basically just made it into a Raven dropship. But people with a lot more time than I have worked out the exact width of the clamps on the Raven. I mean, I say a lot more time. It's actually obvious in hindsight. The clamps on that circled bit are much, much wider than the Raven clamps that clamp onto a buggy. They are the width of a tank.
The Condor clamps that you can see just to the left.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's obvious in hindsight, right?
Yeah, exactly. We look really dumb in hindsight. So presumably this is some sort of heavy Raven that transports 1 tank hull or 1 bear hull. There's nothing current. I mean, I guess transporting a single bear could have its uses.
They could be making it faster. You know, a flock of 3 of them carrying like 3 flamethrower tanks forwards.
Maybe. To me, that's a very niche use.
Two of them off this sprue carrying 2 flails.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. True. either way, I'm very interested. I currently can't think of. Oh, again, there are obvious uses. You could attach a bear to it, attach a flail to it, and so on. But it's a somewhat niche thing to occupy so much space on the sprue, I guess.
Mm. I
Um,
guess if it's something new, it might change the whole ship. We don't.
yeah, true. Could
Yeah.
be a different stat line. We have heard rumors that Dave has not confirmed, from what I gather, of a saber hull command tank. Which sounds suicidal. That sounds even more dangerous than going around in a wolf.
Could be cheaper.
Maybe. Um, who knows? I've got no
Or
idea.
maybe you could, join a squad of sabers.
That could be cool.
Tank commander style.
Yeah, we still have no idea how
No,
these
it's very
attachments to the
speculative.
squads will work. But
Yeah.
yeah, very interesting. Very keen to see what it is, what it's for.
Mm.
And then, yes, I spoiled this slightly. That's okay. Goodbye, guys. You're blocking the artwork. I can stay because I'm just over a bit of moon. There was this, which was announced on the second day of GenCon. Anyone want to explain what we're looking at here?
Yeah, so this is the funky little 3D printed custom UCM prison ship that I think we saw a little while ago. It seems to be the centerpiece for a whole new game called Dreadhold. They released a really cool trailer, and it's a little kind of vignette game of a resistance fleet trying to spring some people of interest from the UCM penal legions.
Yeah. It looks really interesting. It looks similar concept to Operation Artemis. And as you said, it's a little vignette. It's a boxed game. You don't do anything else outside the game to play it. Apparently, it is built on top of Dropfleet's core rules, whereas, say, Artemis is its complete own rule set.
Yeah.
This is, from the sounds of it, somewhere in between just a narrative scenario and its own sort of bespoke product.
Yeah, it's still going to be Dropfleet from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
But with like some bits added in, maybe.
Exactly, and all the models in it are fully usable in Dropfleet as expected.
Yeah.
It looks like you get 2 UCM cruiser sprues, or 2 core sprues, so you get 2 cruisers, 4 frigates. You get the Dreadhold, which is this thing. And then the Resistance, I think you get... I think it was 2 core sprues and 1 light sprue, off the top of my head.
Resistance
They add more
don't
lights.
have the core.
Yeah.
The Resistance have got the cruiser sprue and the frigate sprue. So I
That's
think it was
probably
two cruiser sprues, 1 frigate sprue, and a light sprue.
That would make sense.
And something else, which Silhouette, I'm not sure if you can make it from the cruiser sprue or not.
Interesting. I don't know Resistance well enough to say. It's annoying Gareth couldn't make it. But yeah, there might be something else in that box then. Either way, what I like about it is, yes, okay, it's from sounds of an enclosed scenario, and you can probably play it as a one-off minigame like you do Artemis, but it's also, in a sense, an alternative 2-player starter box.
Mm.
Let's bring you guys back in, because I feel like I'm looking at the wrong monitor because I can't see you here, I'm looking at you here. Because if let's say you want to get started with Dropfleet with a friend, or get 2 fleets for yourself, but you're not into Bioficers, this is a different way to do it, potentially. Whether the Dreadhold will appear in your normal fleets or not, I have no idea.
It'd be usable, I imagine.
It certainly looked like it came with all the tokens, all the 2D terrain, like the debris fields and whatnot. Yeah, interested to see where it goes. Again, keen to see more of these, as they basically just pick little bits of the setting and just do...
Yeah.
Again, vignette's the perfect word for it, isn't it? There's this little microcosm snapshot of a part of the setting, and there's so much they could do with it across the currently 2, eventually to be 4 different game scales.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a nice little like lore snapshot as well. It's a whole new thing, whole new side of UCM we haven't seen.
Yeah, we've never really heard what UCM punishment is. Apparently, it's stick you in a cruiser and
send you off into space. There's probably something more to it.
Probably.
There was some lore, kind of one of the really early teaser snippets from Bioficers, where some of the people who'd been exposed to and seen the Bioficers were being summarily executed.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
To hide the truth, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so if we're executing people for seeing Bioficers, what's this guy done that merits being kept alive and shipped through apparently quite dangerous who knows?
He's too bad to send to Wolfram,
yeah,
but not bad enough to just push out the airlock.
Apparently not. And the Resistance are willing enough to throw a fleet at this problem to try and get him back, and capture him.
Well, clearly he knows something, right? He's got the Death Star plans. Is what's
Absolutely, but again, we can't just shoot him to get the Death Star to make sure no one has the plans.
No, because we need to get them. UCM wants to get them off him, and Resistance wants him back. That makes sense.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm interested to see what it actually means.
What he has. Who is he? That's the thing.
So we'll be watching for this. I think there was a release date in the trailer, but I can't remember if there was. And if there wasn't, I don't want to be told off by saying it.
It can flash up on the screen, right? If there is one.
Maybe. I might. Yeah, maybe. If not, coming soon. Let's go with that. Right. That is that. So that is our preamble done. We're only about an hour in. That's probably not. None of that's probably the reason people are watching this video, because the important news is at a time of recording just about to come out. A time of upload should just have come out. There is the long-awaited Dropfleet Commander balance pass. So,
yeah, it's a biggie.
It's a biggie. I think it's the biggest so far. There are some pretty radical changes to how the base game works. There's obviously a whole slew of changes for each fleet. Let's go through it. Like I said, let's go through it. What we're going to do, we're going to go through, let's skim through it and talk about the interesting parts, because some are more important than others. Sadly, our Resistance, Bioficer, and PHR correspondent couldn't make it, so our expertise on those fleets may be limited. But obviously, I play a lot of UCM. Dan, you have got a few games, but more than a few games now under your belt of Scourge. And Loz, you are a Shaltari loyalist.
Yeah, sure.
Dedicated. Let's go with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be able to give some insight on those topics.
Yeah. Interesting you said the changes to the core game are so significant. I think there are some big changes, but they're not really shaking up the whole system. They've struck me as slightly smaller changes that have quite a profound impact.
Okay. I'm curious to what specifically you're hinting at in a moment. Point it out when you get to it, because I'm not quite sure what you mean. Right.
It's big changes, I think.
Straight up, Impetuous, not Impetuous, Vanguard. Vanguard's the one I love.
So anything new is in blue, anything last patch is in green, anything in neither is older than that. Dan, what's Vanguard?
So Vanguard is basically you always get to directly deploy, which is a really simple rule. But some of the ships that have got it were kind of a little bit adrift and didn't have a niche or a purpose. And suddenly with this, it's breathed a whole new lease of life into them.
Definitely. Yeah, as a whole, like, fast ship roll more, right? Which is really cool to see.
Especially as it's Vanguard X inches, and in addition to directly deploying regardless of the scenario, so even if it's distant, you can directly deploy. You can, when you deploy, set up X inches away from your deployment zone. So if you're Vanguard 6, you can start 6 inches further forward, or whatever direction you want, I suppose. The rule itself is really interesting. As you said, there are a couple of ships that didn't really have a purpose, and now, well, they are your Vanguard. They are there first. They are at your front line, potentially coming in 1 or even 2 turns early. Particularly as, we'll get to it more when we get to the individual fleets, but one of the main things that's picked up Vanguard, I think, across the board, are battlecruisers. Now, battlecruisers previously, I know, Dan, you were very lukewarm battlecruisers, weren't you? Because they were the worst of the heavy ships with all the downsides.
Yeah,
and not many
they were eating into your heavy allowance without giving you as much as a battleship for, 10, 15% more points. You'd get so much more firepower, so much more resilience. What's a battlecruiser giving you? Well, now the battlecruiser is giving you potentially 2 more turns of being there and doing stuff, which is 30%, 33% more game.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
No, 50% more game.
Yeah, because you're there for turns 1 through 6 rather than turns 3 through 6. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
It's really interesting. It's particularly on distant deployment. I'm not going to give any spoilers. I'm not sure when the game will be going up, but I have played a game with these new rules. I was playing UCM, and I had a Johannesburg that's previously a ship that most people have kind of gone, whatever. It's kind of a heavy cruiser with a bit more teeth, but it's a heavy, so it's irritating. It was distant deployment, and it's got, I think, Vanguard 4. And it was a bully, because it was, for 2 turns, it was punching above its weight. My opponent's battleships turned up eventually, but by that point, the Johannesburg was already in their lines, just punching down, beating up light ships that couldn't really fight back very effectively. Huge difference. So much more usable. Yeah, really, it's an interesting rule. It's an interesting lever they can pull. And the ships that have picked it up, I think, are going to, their stock will rise quite rapidly. It also potentially means you don't have to write a fleet specifically for distant play.
Yeah, you can build a more balanced fleet with it, right?
Yeah, if a couple of ships happen to have vanguards, you don't have to go, oh, well, if it's distant, I can't use this fleet. So yeah, we've got 2 other new rules. Let's pick one and tell us about it.
I'm going to go with reinforced armor because it seems smaller. I thought that's going to be mainly resistance. I'm going to read it quickly.
All right.
It seems like if you score a critical hit against, the lock value is higher, right? Is that
Other
right?
way
I'm
around.
reading
Yeah,
that.
it makes it harder to land critical hits on a ship with reinforced armor.
Yeah, which sounds like a buff for resistance. I haven't seen that in Shaltari at all.
Yeah,
They don't get armor.
No.
they don't believe it.
Shields.
I'd seen it applied to the UCM Dreadnoughts.
Okay.
Which is nice because previously they weren't that much tankier than a battleship. For a significantly physically larger model, plus points. Yeah, you need to beat your lock by 3 to score a crit. So if you are lock 3, you now score a crit against this on a 6. If you're lock 4, you can't crit it. Which will have a
Given that a lot of the big ship killers rely on things like penetrator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burn through.
Or even your criticals, right? Any criticals won't go off.
Critical 1 weapons will bounce off or be that little bit harder to hit with. Yeah, it's been applied sparingly. It's not been applied like every battleship or anything like that. I think Resistance have picked it up, and if you play back Resistance, I think have picked it up as an upgrade for some of their ships.
That's cool. I like that.
Bolt-on reinforced armor. Now their saves are not normally great, or certainly their kinetic saves aren't great, but they're just that little bit harder to punch a hole in, which is cool. And then the last completely new special rule, I'll cover this one, is Impetuous. This has again been applied quite sparingly. Paraphrasing what the wording is if when you activate a ship, activate a group, if you haven't activated anything that doesn't have Impetuous this round, that group is +1 lock. So they're impetuous, they want to go first, they're chomping at the bit to get in and get involved. I think a couple of Scourge ships have picked it up, top of my head.
I think so. I don't think it. I suppose it does. If you do a first activation with them, it means that the first activation, the following turn, just gets a little bit of extra teeth.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the most impactful new rule, but again, it's another lever they can pull. What it is flavour, which is nice to see. I know that one of the critiques I've seen some people have for Dropfleet 2 is that in the transition from 1 to 2, some of the flavour was lost for some of the fleets. Some of the ships across different factions felt a bit samey. This is now another thing you can add on to various ships to make that a little bit more interesting. And again, Scourge Yeah, like I can't imagine ever seeing Impetuous on UCM, for example. But that's fine. That's now a cool little thing you can give to the more aggressive, psychotic aliens. I think one of the famous commanders for Scourge, when he's at half health, he gains Impetuous as he gets angrier, which is funny. Cool. So those are our 3 completely new rules. Reeve, how has Reeve changed? Add following special rule.
I don't think it has.
Oh no, it hasn't. Of course, it hasn't. No,
Green's the same.
Blue. It's green.
Yeah,
we talked about this. So we can move on straight on to the errata. That first thing there about weapons is basically just a clarification. Some rules will now refer to a weapon system. It's just basically that row of weapons across the whole group. So if I've got a Rio, I've got a group of 2 Rios, and their weapons are their UF6400s and their UF other mass drivers. The UF6400 is a weapon system. If I have a thing that makes it so pick a weapon system, it does better. it'll apply it to all of that row of weapons across the whole group. If they had 2 of them each, it would only impact 1 weapon per ship, because there'd be 2 separate rows.
Yeah, there's been a whole bunch of these things today. It's quite nice tightening up the terminology and defining things.
Yeah, exactly. Another one there.
I mean, similar kind of thing with the arcs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not changing anything really. It's just clarifying that you're in one arc or the other. You're never in both.
Yeah.
Which is
Let's get on to the next page.
Let's get to
the exciting stuff.
Okay. Should we talk about initiative? This is a potentially significant change. I hate it as the guy with Command Ship 2 every game.
I think that again, it's a simple change. It doesn't massively change things. What it does is reframe stuff for list building. It gives you more options. It makes not maxing out your admiral value a much more valid choice.
Yeah, exactly. The change, pretty simply, is that when you roll initiative, rather than adding your command value, if one of you has a higher command value than the other, you add 1. So it's still significant. +1 to initiative is not bad, but it will never be more than that. If I've got my level 3 commander in my level 2 command ship and Lost bought a level 2 commander, I don't just auto-win every initiative, basically.
Yeah.
Plus, for good measure, you explicitly cannot spend rerolls on it. So nice, simple, straightforward, and as you said, it just makes other list building options it opens up list building options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Weapons free. This is a big one.
Oh yeah. Again, this is one of those things where it's quite simple, but the value of certain ships goes up or goes down, and yeah. So this, I think, is how things were back in version 1. It means on weapons free, you cannot turn.
Yeah.
You may launch, but you cannot turn.
Exactly. Yeah, that was how version 1 worked, and yeah, it's as you said, it makes a bunch of ships that were previously terrible suddenly a lot more interesting. It was always horrible with the Washington, where I've got, I think, 6 guns, but I'm also launched 6. So it was never full efficiency. That's now a lot more interesting.
Scourge have got a lot of their heavy ships have got a bunch of launch and a bunch of guns.
Yeah.
And they always struggled because they were kind of confused platypus.
Exactly.
Suddenly they're not. Suddenly they're pointed into the middle of the enemy ship, blaze away with everything, and then bomb what's left.
Exactly. But you said point to the enemy ship. The no turns is interesting as well, because a lot of big, powerful, heavy battleships have got massive, awesome front narrow weapons.
Yeah.
Well, you can't turn anymore. You got to point that at the target the previous turn. Obviously telegraphing what you're going to do. You're committing to where it's going to go. Yeah, it's huge. Again, I've played a couple of games with this coming out soon, and it felt so much more tactical with these big, heavy battleships. Again, telegraphing what they're going to do.
Yeah.
There'd be moments where I go, well, I'm going to have to fly through this debris field or point myself through the debris field to actually even have a chance of getting a target in arc. I can take it because I'm a battleship, but yeah, nice change. I'm sure it'll make a lot of version 1 veterans very happy. It means that weapons free is not always the correct order, which is nice.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that hurts Biofighters who probably didn't need it a bit with the sides, where you get the fuselage benefit for going weapons free with the front narrow weapon.
Yeah.
And they've got them in spades. But they've also got the longer scan range, and as you get that much further out, suddenly your 22.5 degree arc
covers a lot more.
Covers a lot more.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
they'll have to be played a bit differently, won't they? More room for skill expression, maybe? Because again, if you can set up your arcs to turn before, then you'll benefit from it. If you don't think about it, you end up with nothing to shoot. Or, more accurately, you don't go weapons free and stuff will reduce firepower.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely going to hit some ships more than others.
Yep. And then I think the other 3 are more the kind of tidying up and simplifying and housekeeping things.
Yeah.
It makes things like critical fire better because you get to burn them and then they can put the fires out.
Yeah, it'll always go off. One big one there, defenses offline is now -1 to all your saves rather than no kinetic or energy or shield saves.
I love that. It's great.
Yeah.
Best change. Don't turn my shields anymore.
I mean, it'll reduce your shields by 1.
I can take that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, I like that. It makes it a less of a binary. Your ship is
Yeah.
utterly dead or carrying on fine.
Yeah, it helps balance status out, I think, as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
And then explosions. You don't have to remember a set of things to determine whether things blow up. They just blow up now.
yeah, which is violent.
I like.
Yeah. Gonna make brawling at close range risky. Right. What else we got? So launch assets. I don't think that's that big a deal. Oh, that is a big deal, actually. From now, placing launch assets counts as them moving from the carrier to their location. What this means is you can't place assets the other side of terrain and not suffer the penalties. You can't sit on one side of a ring and put your fighters the other side of the ring. Or sit one side of the debris field and drop your troops the other side of the debris field. Which is interesting. I think people generally thought that's how it was supposed to work, but it's not what it said, so makes sense. It's just a tidy up of how boarding pods work there. Fighters.
Oh, that's a bigger change. I think I'd internalised this from the Scourge perspective, where kinetic save rerolls were something that happened to other people.
Yeah. Now, fighters only grant their rerolls versus all close action weapons regardless of damage type and bombers regardless of damage type. They do nothing to any other weapon type. This makes sense, I think. It was always a little weird that I could have a fighter pilot intercept a mass drive around with his face, I assume, but then he's shooting it down. This makes more sense thematically. It's going to hurt a couple of fleets. UCM may now fail kinetic saves, which is a novelty. And Resistance, I think, relied quite heavily on their fighters to make up for their poor kinetic saves. Now that's not an option. They're just going to have to take their base kinetics and deal with it. Which is fair enough. What have we got for bombers? Not sure what's actually been changed there. It's just tidying up of wording. Saturation fire is now just the term for when you have more than 6 bombers and reduce target saves. So now it's just a separate rule. Again, tidying up. Scenery, this is basically just reiterating that when assets fly through or are placed through scenery, they're affected by the scenery, just putting in 2 places rather than 1 so it's clear.
You no longer have to balance your ships with the bases half off the table edge.
Yeah,
Best change.
Yeah, something everyone's happy to see, I'm sure. Good. Glad to hear it. This is not in this because it's a slightly older version of the PDF, but the final version of it, I'm claiming full responsibility for this. Raise is now spelled R-A-Z-E rather than R-A-I-S-E, like it should have been. It's important to me. Slight tweak
With your style. There we go.
Slight tweak to secondaries. Any that previously said that a drop site had to be more than 24 away from you now has to be at least 24 away from you. The one that is exactly 24 away from your deployment zone is therefore at least. Therefore, ones along the centre line are valid for secondaries. Good. Nice to see. Aegis. I don't recall what changed here. I think just clarification of when you allocate the additional saves. Detector, you now gain a spike after using Detector. So at the end of your activation, just as you'll warm up a little bit. So if you're sat at the back with your telescope or with your lemurs, they will be slightly easier to hit. Obviously, you'll clear it on general quarters, but you'll therefore essentially always have 1 spike.
Yep. Yeah, if you're active scanning, then you're probably easier to spot yourself.
Exactly.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Do you want to take escort? Do you remember what happened here, or should I take it?
Is it just one weapon system?
It's not one weapon system.
No, I don't remember what has changed. Here, you take it.
All right. Quite an elegant system, I think. So now, after an opponent has rolled all of they target a heavy or colossal ship, they roll all of their hits for all of the weapons targeting that ship. It's the targets for anything like caliber applies, etc. And then you have your pool of hits with save modifiers and core hits and whatnot. Cool. When you've done that, if you want, you can pick an escort group within 6 inches of that heavy or colossal ship and redirect some hits to the escort group. but the maximum number of hits, or sorry, the maximum damage you can reallocate is that group's starting health.
Mm.
So if I've got a single escort ship that has 5 health, and you hit me with 3 damage to attack, for example, I could transfer 2 of them over to the escort, but 1 of them would still go into the capital ship. If that is a group of 2 escorts at 10 health, I could reallocate 10 damage to the group of escorts. And I can do this every time they're targeted. So, what does this mean? It means escorts are still great. I think I'll still always bring an escort along with my heavy ships, because being able to redirect some damage to them is very useful. But I can't necessarily redirect all of it. If my capital ship takes an absolute hammering from an Amazon or something, I can't just go, nope, you hit the Vancouver instead, sorry. I can have some of it hit the Vancouver, which will obliterate it, but not all of it. Which, yeah, I think it's a nice change. I think it's an elegant way of doing it. It makes escorts still good. It doesn't mean they are as unpleasant to play against as they used to be. And one additional thing is that weapons with focused cannot be affected by the escort rule, because they focus.
Cool. Yeah.
So there's actually an upside. Well, there's already an upside, I suppose, to focus. You could choose to focus down a damaged ship, but now, yeah, you can't dodge a focus weapon at all, even with an escort, which is nice. So, yeah, good change. I think it's one of the most disliked rules, I think, for 2nd edition at launch. Loz, do you know what's changed with gate ships and motherships?
As far as I can tell, it's just a clearing up of the rules. There seems to be the gate ships, which is already here. They can't. They have max first year damage control or something, but that was all. Except now it just turns your value to 0 instead of you can't launch. It just makes more sense.
Oh, I see the change there. The note there saying the launch is measured from the gate ship. Oh no, that was already there. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm just tightening up the wording, as he said.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't there some Shaltari things where you've got a mothership or a gate ship that's a space station?
That's
so didn't
it.
they expand the definition to include stations?
That's it. Yes.
That might be it.
Because
I
previously,
guess if you're...
yeah, the Shaltari space station did not work, because gate ship and mothership both referred to ship, and a space station is not a ship.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a cleanup, really. Shields, this is potentially significant. Now, for your shields, Loz, you as the Shaltari player, you call whether or not you're using your shields when I declare my attacks, not after I've rolled all my dice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes sense.
But it's not changed anything other than that. It's not a crazy change, really.
No, it just means you don't have all the information when you make the decision. You don't go, how many penetrator hits? Oh, 4. Oh, right, I'll shield. You go, I'm firing a weapon at you that has penetrator. Would you like to shield?
Yeah.
Which I think is more interesting. It's a bit more chaos, and yeah, that uncertainty means it's a more interesting decision rather than...
Makes more sense. You're raising shields as you see the bullets coming.
You see the gun going like this.
Yeah.
You go, yeah, all right.
You also can't shield boarding actions.
Oh yes, that's a change, which also makes sense. Cool. Crippling. This is a clarification. In bold there, you can only have one of each crippling effect. Before, there were entire essays written about whether it was from a token or from an effect, and whether an effect was a token, and no, you can have one of each crippling effect per ship, except fire. Period.
I can still set things very much on fire, though.
Yeah, you can burn the whole ship to the ground, yes, but you can't put 2 defenses offline stacks on it, or 2 weapons offline stacks on it. Which is good. Interestingly, it means if you status something with, say, defenses offline, which will clear at the end of the round, you can't put another layer of real defenses offline on top of it that they have to repair, because they already have defenses offline. Which is interesting interaction. I think that's the only real change, other than it's the defender that rolls the crippling result for being reduced to half health. So they're the person who's choosing to spend rerolls on it, or choosing to set it to 1 damage, and so on. Again, just to tidy up. Scald now actually says what it does. Previously, it didn't actually say what X did. It just said if you are hit by a Scald weapon, reduce your saves. Volley now clarifies basically they are separate weapons after you have assigned targets. Once you've assigned your final weapon. Once you've assigned your final weapon. Big old chunk of FAQs, most of them fairly obvious. Like, what order you resolve rerolls in. If the players roll simultaneously, it's the player who has the initiative. They do so, or the active player does so first. Then other players in initiative order. You're off the table when your stem leaves the table, not your base. Most of this is all fairly obvious. Obviously, if you play Dropfleet, if you don't, not sure why you're watching this. If you play Dropfleet, read through this in full, because there will be some important changes here, but we're not going to go through everything. Again, reiterating that you can only have one crippling effect. If there is a planetary ring across the very center of the board, and you move so that you are, let's say it's 24 inches in, and you move 12 inches and then move 12 inches, what side of the ring are you on? You're on both sides of the ring. So you can be seen from both sides, which I guess is the best way to try and come to the conclusion of how wide an infinite point is, or infinitely thin line is. Is there anything else that noteworthy here? Do stop me if there's something you want to talk about, obviously. Oh, if you're firing a crippling weapon and you cripple something, the attacker decides, or they roll the crippling result. So if I hit something hard enough to cripple it with a crippling weapon, I'd roll one result, you'd roll the other. And we spend our appropriate rerolls on them. Overcharge affects an entire volley weapon. And we're done. So, those are the changes to the core rules. Dan, what was the one you were mentioning at the start that you said was a relatively minor one, but would have a big impact, if I understood correctly?
So I think the Weapons Free. It's not rewriting whole swathes of the rule book. It's changing two sentences for two very similar sentences. But the ripple effects out from there, where suddenly front narrow ships have that skill payoff much more. The ships with the launch suddenly become much more valuable if they've got a decent amount of guns compared to having to choose between launching and shooting.
I think you're going to see a lot less weapons free, which is kind of like your standard action. It felt like in most games, where now it might be less common that you're doing that.
Certainly, if
I don't know. As a Scourge player, I think I'm going to use it more.
Well, maybe.
I want to be able to launch with my big ships that I've paid for decent launch values on. Getting another 3 Oculus shots, sure, why not? When we're at that point in the game, and Scourge ships generally have pretty good fireworks as well, so works great for Scourge. So, I don't think it's going to be simple. Everyone is going to change in this way. I think it's going to be really
effective.
But it's going to definitely make the game more interesting, I think. Because yes, Scourge would quite have said you're going to be using weapons free more on the whole, but previously if you're pointed at a debris field, weapons free doesn't matter. You turn a little bit and go that way instead. Whereas now it's a decision. What's more important, where you want to go, or do you want to fire more guns?
I'm used to silent running that doesn't let me turn. You need to point the ship in the right direction to start with.
Okay,
that hasn't changed with Scourge.
Okay.
Don't point your ship towards things you don't want to fly into.
Fair point. All right. But yeah, I'd agree. Relatively minor change in terms of, I don't know, word count, but massive in terms of the rippling effects it can have across the whole game.
Yeah.
So, let's have a look at some of the ship changes.
So one change.
Yeah.
Points are no longer to the nearest 5 points.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I really like that. I think that gives. You could have, played a 200-point game, and you could have divided all ship values by 5, and you'd have had as much design space. Actually, using 1, 2, 3, or 4 when you're mod 5 gives you more points to balance between.
No, I agree. I pulled a face. That's literally just because I'm writing this, and they come to 1496 points. Or 1489 points. And I think, well, can I use 10 points somewhere? No, because that ship now costs 82 points rather than 80 points. So it's a little bit. Yeah, it'll really upset some people, I'm sure. But I do agree. It's again another lever to pull, because you can look at a ship and go, well, it needs a slight improvement. It's currently 80 points. It doesn't deserve to be 75 points, but we could try 77 and see how that goes.
Yeah, for the light ships especially, where you've got ships that are costing 20 to 40 points,
increments
of 5 is a huge proportionate change.
Yeah.
especially as you said, when you then get ships you're comparing across factions, you're going, well, why is my Corvette 20 points and does this, and your Corvette's 20 points, but it's so much better? Well, now it could be, well, your Corvette could be 22 points, or mine could be 18 points, and so on. It's not necessarily the case. They haven't adjusted every single ship, and some of them they have adjusted by increments of 5 anyway. But yeah, again, it's a change to how the system works, and it's now, as the game, it's a very young game, it's less than a year old. As the game progresses over however many years, hopefully many, they can tinker with this up and down.
Give some more room, yeah.
Right, so based on that, UCM changes. There are a couple of important ones. I mean, they've tinkered with some of the admiral abilities. The good ones have generally gone up in points, so Colonial Legions is now 2 rather than 1. That's fair, it's really good. Intensify point defense now gives you more Aegis than it did. I still probably wouldn't take it, but I prefer to have abilities to directly affect the drop part of the game. This may not come up, but it's nice to have. Infiltrate and Sabotage. If you don't know that one, it's where I, for 2 points, pick any drop site at the end of the initiative phase, and it takes D3 core hits. Now I have to have a ship within 6 inches of that drop site. But it's D3 plus 1 core hits. So it does more damage, and therefore more reliably removes troops, but I have to have something there. Which is much of a muchness, really. I think it'll still be really, 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 really good. And I can quite happily bring like a small group of, I don't know, Corvettes to go and get the objective I care about. But I guess
it means there's counterplay.
Yeah.
I can drop off 3 battalions on a drop site in my back line. And if I then keep all of your dropships away from it, I keep that drop site. Whereas before you had the ability to point at it without going near it and just go, lose some, next turn, lose some more, they're all dead.
Exactly.
And there was, other than kill your admiral, there was nothing that could be done about it. So I like that.
Yeah. Interestingly, it's not just dropships, any ship, but also because it's within 6 inches, that's the range of any ground-based weapon. So I move my ship there, turn 1, I park over the drop site, making it obvious what I'm going to do, and then you've got troops on the drop site who then man the guns, and if it's just a Corvette or something, very good odds you'll shoot it down, even if you're not actively guarding it with your own ships. So yeah, good change. Mass Driver Volley, which was currently my favourite on the London, it's now not +1 shot, it's +1 lock, which will do nothing with the massive, great big lock 2 damage 4 core weapons, because you can't get better than 2. So, probably a good change. Other interesting changes across the board, I think. Anything that had Aegis has seen it gone up a bit, because I think generally the consensus was Aegis is an interesting rule, it's just undertuned. So, we got more of it now, generally. Santiago's, I'm happy about. I thought Santiago's were pretty good as is. The UCM Corvette with 4 shots lock 4. They're now 4 shots lock 3. I'll take that. They gained rare, but I don't think I'd ever run more than 2 groups anyway. The Lysander is a big one. This was previously the stealth dropship, and it was pretty much an auto take because it was 2 drop for 50 points. They've gained Vanguard 6, so they are faster, but they are now only dropping. They need 2 dropships to launch 1 battalion, or if you only have 1 left, you roll a dice, and on a 4+, you place 1 battalion.
Okay. With Vanguard, though, it's going to give them a good boost into the middle board.
See, I'm not sure. I don't think you'll actually get to any drop sites faster, because let's say it's line, you're coming in from your board edge, 6-inch further forward, 12-inch thrusts were on 18, drop range of 3, so 21. I'm still not reaching the midboard in the first round.
But if it was any of the deployments that have you on the board already, and you're 6 inches further,
potentially, there might be some where it makes a difference.
Yeah.
I'll need to play around with it. I think overall it's a nerf. I think it's probably a deserved nerf, because now 50 points gets you 1 drop, but fast, or 45 points gets you 1 drop with a strike carrier, but it's slower, but more durable. It'll mean we see more New Orleans, I think, which is probably a good thing, because Lysander's people just took as many as they could normally, because they were so cheap. Toulon's got a bit more firepower. The Jakarta, which is the dedicated Aegis ship, has got more Aegis. Its group has dropped from 2 to 4 to 1 to 2, so you can now just bring 1 of them. And it's gained an anti-wing weapon, so it can actually directly target bomber waves and try and knock them out, which is good. I need to check whether anti-wing interacts with torpedoes. I don't think it does.
I don't think so.
It's only bombers and fighters. Fair enough. Which means then nothing interacts with torpedoes, because Aegis doesn't, fighters don't, anti-wing doesn't, so torpedoes just do their damage when they arrive.
Yeah, you just have to avoid them or take it.
And then most of the rest of it are points increases, which is probably deserved. Dan, you've been saying for a while that UCM are generally a bit too cheap, I think.
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, I think Scourge is one of the better matchups into UCM. I think the really good kinetic saves and the predominance of kinetic energy amongst resistance amongst PHR, man, that was a rough matchup for those fleets into UCM.
Yeah, you're probably right, and I think they were generally overperforming. So the points increases are not unfair. There are some that hurt, but those are because I was bringing the good stuff, and now the good stuff costs more, which is what you're talking about, Smas. As you can see, again, every single battlecruiser has picked up Vanguard 4, which is nice. It's really interesting on the Venice, because that will mean that your command ship with your admiral starts the game on the board, so you get full action points round 1. And its order previously let you weapons free and launch. Well, that's core now. So now, this is, as someone who quite likes these techie pieces, it's very interesting. Order to fire, you now select the group, they fire a single weapon system, then they turn and move and fire their other weapon systems. That's the key thing there, I guess, is you can activate a weapon, see how it does, and then fire your other weapons. You get the information of how the first weapon system did before you resolve the other ones, which, to me, is really interesting. Yeah, I'm very keen to see how that plays out and see this worth taking. I was already very, very keen on the Venice.
I think that'll work nicely with your big ships with front narrow weapons as well. You can take the shot and then fly past the thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you're already on target and don't want to go past it. So yeah, I expect to see a lot more Venices. I think it's going to be a very common one in most of my fleets. And again, that Vanguard it doesn't need to go anywhere. It could be Vanguard 0, but just starting on the board means 5 more action points. Means you can start throwing ships around at high speed round 1. Very cool.
Yeah. Other thing that we see in UCM, and actually is fairly common across most of the fleets, is the battleship upgrades. Those extra engines have got pricier.
Yes. Significantly so. Up 25 points, I think.
Yeah, you can still have fast battleships, but you pay for it. You pay even more than you did before.
Yeah. And at that point, you're approaching a super battleship cost. So now you're starting to think, do I want the extra firepower or do I want the extra speed? Because all the super battleships have gone down to 6-inch thrust. That extra engine cluster is there to allow it to carry the extra weapon systems and launch it's got, not to make it as fast as a cruiser. Which makes sense.
6 is really slow.
I know. Do you have anything that's that slow? Monitors, maybe?
Yeah, I think they might be.
I mean, it is really slow, but I'll bring a Venice and make it thrust 10. Another reason to bring a Venice, I think. And then the London and the Washington stayed at thrust 6. They are also painfully slow. Their Aegis increased to 6, which is actually massive. That's really durable against bombers. And they gained reinforced armor, so they'll stick around for somewhat longer as well. Scourge. Take it away, Dan. What do you want to talk about on this page?
Oh, lots of good stuff here. So the launch free has changed on the fleet thrall. Same kind of deal as UCM got. The core change to weapons free means you can launch anyway. So instead they get Reaving Gaze, which lets you use Reave instead of Scald, and gives you a bit more punch at long range. So change to that admiral. The other fleet-specific admiral hasn't changed, but the admiral abilities themselves have. For the species, it was always pretty niche. So I'm glad to see that's gone down to 1 action point. You can take the niche thing And then if the stars align and that ability comes up for you to use, then you're not paying through the nose to use it. So that's great.
I think it does.
Assimilated
for the species now just does damage as well. I think before it was core hits. Now damage bypasses all saves. So it's still a case of the later you leave it, the worse it is. But when you do need to just knock that last hull point off something, it's that bit more reliable.
Yeah, I mean, I've only ever used it once, and that was with a Chimera troop ship. It's like, it doesn't have any guns. The thing that's right next to it is just going to kill it when that thing activates. But I can kill you first. And then, paying two admiral points to do 2 damage to the enemy ship at the cost of my own ship. Just like, that doesn't feel great. But at least one, it's cheaper, and there's no way of saving it.
Was it always at the end of their activation as well? It is now, so you can move up weapons free, launch all your bombers if you've got them, and then finally die.
Yep. Yes, it was always at the end of the activation. Okay. So you can flood troops onto the planet, fire your weapons, and then ram.
Okay, good.
Which is quite nice. Again, I think it's still really niche, but if you've got a choice of 2 admiral abilities, it's not a bad one to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Assimilated bioforms is much easier to trigger, but the extra battalions don't hang around, so swings and roundabouts there. High-speed launch has gone up a bit. Fair play. Not too worried by that. And yeah, that's it for the admiral ability changes.
Okay.
Launch assets, a few tweaks there.
Fast torpedoes.
And then
fast and 50% increase on damage with your torpedoes.
Yes, yeah, the means they can actually reliably set stuff on fire and put razor worms on board, so that's good.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll give them a try. I think it's quite nice. Oh, you said nothing interacts with launch assets. Interacts with torpedoes. Yeah. Yes, if you blow up a ship, it can remove torpedoes.
Okay, that's correct. Okay.
But yeah, I look forward to having a little play with those and seeing what those torpedoes can do.
Okay.
I think it's nice rather than game-changing, though. I'm going to skip past the famous admirals because they got all the same changes as their base ships.
Okay.
So the big change is that's one right there called Plasma Gale. It is a close action weapon. It's been bolted onto a whole lot of ships. Quite a few of the ships that have gained it had 2 weapon systems before.
I see. Okay.
So they could fire your Oculus Beam Crest or your heavy cruiser's main gun. Now you can fire both on general quarters.
Yeah. Even if you never fired this thing, that's a buff. Because that's firing 2 guns.
Yeah. And then you can go on weapons free if you're in the middle of it and you get some extra damage being put out there.
Yeah. It's
the
not
other
that
change.
Either. It's not great.
Well,
but...
we'll come to that.
Okay.
The other change, and this applies to the Plasma Gale and it applies to almost all of the other close action weapons Scourge have, is that they are now kinetic. Scourge used to have bombers.
Okay.
And the little frigate that could hide in atmosphere and use its reverse gravity cannons.
Okay.
Which no one ever took. Those were the only kinetic weapons in the fleet.
Okay. So playing against PHR was miserable then?
Against PHR, it's like, well, you can get into thought range and use your close action weapons and hope the Scald 3 takes the edge off their great energy saves. But that was the best play you'd got. Whereas now, actually getting into close action range and using your close action weapons, you get to then target their kinetic saves, you still get the Scald 2, and it gives you that play. So Scourge had a real problem where actually against UCM they weren't too bad, but against PHR and against Resistance they really struggled. This mixes things up. It's a really nice...
Resistance will really struggle now because, they've got awful kinetic saves most of the time. And these will punch straight through them.
Yeah.
Was it applied to close action weapons, or was it applied to plasma weapons, or are they the same thing, basically?
They're synonymous to Scourge.
Cool.
Okay, so we then have, you can see Nikar, for instance, the plasma squall gets changed to kinetic.
Yeah.
The Hiroku and the Ebisow, lovely little ships, great fun to play with. Gained a slight points cut. They've gained Vanguard, they've gained Impetuous. They're fantastic. They die as soon as the enemy sneezes in their direction. So
Okay. They're going to do the best.
I'm expecting them to be probably held back turn 2 for a kind of late turn 2 activation to pounce forward, try and attack. And if you can then do a first activation in round 3 before they get wasted, you've doubled your money's worth out of them.
Yeah.
So Impetuous is a quite nice little boon there. And then, little upgrades to some of the frigates.
Tell me when to stop.
Through there.
That's a wall attack for the Parasite.
Right, Parasite, yes. So the Parasite is a really cool looking ship. It's a beautiful model. It's really interesting. It plays around with spikes in a way that no other ship in the game does. And before, if you lined it all up right and you got it right, you were paying 55 points to do what a Harpy did for 40 points. And the spikes pushed the Parasite up to the level of the Harpy.
Okay.
Now it doesn't. Now it's changed. So the Oculus Rays are just straight up damage 2 all the time. So it's actually got decent guns on it. And then you assess whether it gets the extra firepower based on how many spikes the Parasite has at the point it fires. So it can slurp 2 spikes off in round 1, and then it can slurp 2 spikes off in round 2, and it can be on 4 spikes. Happy days, it gets the full benefit.
I see.
So I really like that. Makes it much easier to use, and actually makes the payoff worth the effort. I mean, you've still got to put some thought into it. You're still going to be wanting to run around with 3 or more spikes on there. But if you go into silent running, having had 3 spikes was great because you now get regen 3,
which is just
or regen 4 if you so I think that's progressed up to being a really interesting little what's it called? Is it cutter?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
it looks fun.
The light ships that are super fast. It's a really interesting one of them.
Yeah, I think they are.
Okay.
What next?
Destroyers. So there was a really good destroyer, and then the others were kind of very much also Rans. And this is the other theme that we see at destroyers, and we see it when we get into the cruisers. There was a mechanically and mathematically best pick for Scourge, and that was as many Oculus weapons as possible.
Okay.
Furnace weapons and the plasma weapons have got a bit of a shot in the arm to bring them up to that level. And again, with the close action weapons, them being kinetic gives you a use case for them. Like there's reasons when and scenarios when you might want to give it a go.
Yep.
So that's the destroyers. And then we're into the cruisers. So the light cruisers have gained Vanguard.
Scary. They were already pretty fast.
They were already pretty fast. They are now, yes, they will be in your face. And particularly if it's a distant deployment where medium ships normally come on turn 1, I'll be on your side of the table by sorry, turn 2. Yes, I'll be on your side of the table by then if I want to.
Yes.
They can really move. And then the medium and larger cruisers gain that plasma gale. So straight away you're getting the extra shots, you're getting the extra attack with the weapon system.
Nice.
And then your plasma tempest gets 2 extra shots, going up from 6 shots to 8 shots.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Plasma Tempest is kind of the standard close action weapon on the close action focused cruisers. So they'll either have an Oculus weapon, and then they'll either have a bank of Oculus weapons, or the furnace cannons, or Plasma Tempest as the main gun on them. And all of these Plasma Tempests have got 2 extra shots, going from 6 to 8, and Fusillade 2. So instead of getting 6 shots, instead of your potential 8 damage from your Oculus weapons, you're now getting up to 10 shots.
And then 3 more for your plasma gale.
And 3 more from your plasma gale. Which makes getting into close action range worth it. It makes the payoff matter.
Yeah.
and it means that you don't just go, I take the Oculus choice or I deliberately gimp myself. No, I'll take whichever one I want to, and there's better more choices that are valid in fleet building.
Yeah, it opens up a playstyle basically that previously would be actively a bad idea. Now it's whether it's better or worse. I mean, people will math it out and come to some conclusion or other, but yeah,
I
you're not
think
gimping yourself by
it's
doing
at the
so.
point now. It's not that it's better or worse. It's like it's better in this bunch of scenarios and against these target types, and it's worse against those target types.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can anymore say in a vacuum one is better than the other. It's like, well, what are you shooting at? Where are you? What? And it's a useful, good choice. So yeah, absolutely. And in a similar way, and we already spoke about fire kicking in before repair rolls. The furnace lasers that set stuff on fire also got a boost, so they have got extra shots.
Oh, good. Yeah, it sounds like, again, a nice injection of flavour. You've got, again, different play styles. Your weapons now feel radically different to each other, fulfill different roles. All of them sound like they're viable. Yeah, really nice changes.
Yeah. I mean, the furnace cannon is still getting 6 shots hitting on 3s instead of the yokai plasma Oculus weapons, which are 4 shots hitting on 3s but doing 2 damage each. But it's got burned through and it causes fires, and you can actually affect the enemy saves from outside of scan range. So yeah, I think that's nice.
Nice.
So yes, we've said about Scourge close action weapons getting buffed, and then we have the absolute poster child for that in the Kolshedra.
Yeah, that appears to have got basically everything you just said.
It's a slightly worse carrier than it used to be. It only has launch 2.
Whatever.
But oh my days, it is, yes, I just want to point this at the enemy fleet and go for it. Yeah, it can dish out quite some hurt. With a heavy cruiser hull, it's got the better saving throw as well.
It's got a built-in backup as well? Is that a thing that Scourge heavies get?
No, they don't get backups.
Okay.
That's heavy ships and upwards, not heavy cruisers.
Okay, Speaking
UCM
of heavy ships.
Speaking of heavy ships, absolutely. So all of the battle cruisers have gained Vanguard 6. And there have been some more changes. Again, similar sort of notes, boosting up the close action weapons, changing them to kinetic, and the magnetron lash might be useful on the Shadow. Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Again, it's another ship that with Scourge that's got launch and a decent array of weapons. So the weapons free change there is where that's going to shine.
And again, that Vanguard's going to help, both getting up board faster and arriving 2 turns early on distant.
Yep. Yes, it can bully light ships horribly, and then it can do something about the heavies when they show up.
Yeah.
And then the Umbra has been through a change, so it's got a much better scan range now. And you put an Oculus token on one enemy group, and then when you attack that, you can spend the Oculus token to give your ships Vive instead of Scald.
With Oculus weapons, yeah?
With Oculus weapons, yes.
Okay. So it's a variant of how the telescope tokens work for resistance, or the same sort of concept of mark an enemy ship and then hit it harder, I suppose. Or in this case, hit it hard from further away.
Yes.
Yes.
Hit it harder when you're shooting it from further away. If you get right up and into scan range, it's not doing anything for you.
Yeah, but for painting a target early, aren't yokai armed with Oculus weapons?
Yes, they are.
And they picked up Vanguard as well.
Yes, they did.
That's a mean little combo. Because there's no minimum range for placing the Oculus token. It's just on a group in line of sight in the front arc. So you paint a target with the Umbra, and then the yokai open up with a whole bunch of damage to Reeve 2 weapons.
Yep.
Okay.
No, Reeve 1.
No? Reeve 1. Oh, okay, they only...
They get the Reeve value of the Scald weapon.
Right, okay.
I mean, if you really wanted to, you could use it on your heavy cruisers with... No, not the Kolshedra, the other 2. their Oculus Crests have got Scald too,
That's what I'm thinking
so
of.
that they would trigger into Weave 2, and you can do that from silent running.
Oh, good. All right.
So, yeah, actually fun.
Battleships.
And then battleships, yes, they got shootier
Yes. Across the board.
across the board, and the close action weapons haven't really affected them here because the battleships don't have many. But the Furnace Fangs have gone from, so for the cruisers, the Furnace Fangs went from 4 shots up to 6 shots. Not Furnace Lasers, sorry, on the cruisers. On the battleships, the Furnace Fangs were already 6 shots, so they've gone to a 2+ lock from 3+.
With burn through as well?
With burn through, oh yes.
Oh, good. Okay, so they're going to
So
carve through.
instead of averaging 4 hits with -2 to your saves, they're now averaging 5 hits at -3.
Okay, good. Which is most things down to a 6-up save, anything else on a 5-up save.
Yeah, so they're good. They are front narrow weapons, so you do need to line things up, and obviously the Weapons Free Change is going to make that a bit harder. I still think they're really good.
Yeah.
Really keen to get my battleship painted up and start having a play with those.
Nice.
And then in a similar way to the UCM, the Go Fast engine upgrade now costs more points.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
All of your super battleships have gone. You said you had no Thrust 6. There you go. You were talking about how terrible Thrust 6 was.
Yes, but you always take the
Okay, fine.
the engine upgrades to make it Thrust 9.
Yeah, all right, fine. Okay, never mind. But technically,
Yeah, they don't stay Thrust 6.
All right. Okay. More of the same, I believe.
Yeah.
And then the Nosferatu and Cthulhu both gained an additional weapon. They get the same sort of thing of additional close action scaled kinetic weapon. Buckets of shots on the Nosferatu. I think the Cthulhu, that change to its bloom was just because it only have one spike. It had bloom 2, but cloak 1, so whatever.
Yeah, that's a meaningless change. Not affecting anything, unless something else gains a Furnace Triad in the future.
Well, there is that, yeah.
Yes, they got lock improved, they got more shots, they got an extra weapon, generally shootier. So yeah, as a Scourge player, I'm really happy with those changes. I think
I would be.
I think it's done a few minor buffs for the best playstyle for Scourge, but it's brought the other options. It's brought them up to that similar sort of level, and yeah, gives you a lot of choice now.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot more of your fleet is now open. That makes sense. It's now a lot more interesting choices to make. And as you said, you're not actively gimping yourself by taking stuff that isn't Oculus.
Yeah. It looks like it's one of the biggest lot of changes as well.
I think
for
so,
different fleets.
I mean, based on sheer page count alone, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the stats said that Scourge were one of the worst performing, if not the worst performing fleet. So
yeah, nice.
That.
Good to see. Right, PHR. Again, none of us are PHR experts here, so PHR players, we are sorry if we sound like we don't know what we're talking about. Because we don't, but we can read as well as the rest of them. What were the major changes? One big one there. Command hack is gone. Command hack previously was, I think, I roll a dice in secret and you roll a dice in secret, and I then say whether my dice is higher or lower than yours. And if I'm right, I can't remember what happens. I think I gain command points or you lose them or something. It was this weird abstract little mini game that maybe did something useful. Doesn't exist. It's gone. So what it did doesn't matter. It has been replaced instead with Ship of the Line. Great name for an ability when you're basically playing H-Sail in space. When you assign targets to a group's weapons, your broadside arc weapons that have Fusillade gain the benefit of Fusillade regardless of the order you're on. If you're on Fusillade, you gain double Fusillade instead. 1 action point for more shots. It's not complicated, but it's a nice one to have. Especially if you can line it up to have both your broadsides firing in both directions at the same time. I can see it being the I'm not sure what else to take, I'll take this choice. What else was significant? Countermeasures hack. Again, I'm afraid I'm not sure what it did previously, but it's now gone down to a single point and lets you turn off backup saves, Aegis, and fighters on a target group. Or if it's a heavy or colossal ship, it costs 2 points. But heavy and colossal groups often rely quite heavily on those backup saves. Turning off, when does it last until? In any activations, it won't help with bombers. Turning off Aegis, but it'll help if you've got a close action ship. Very nice.
Oh, sorry, I've just read what the old version was. Yes, that's nice.
What was it previously?
So it used to be a flat 2 action points.
Okay.
And it used to make their kinetic save worse by 1.
Oh.
Bench.
Whatever. This is, somewhat more impactful and cheaper against those targets. Weapons hack, I really like. Weapons hack used to be pick a group, turn off one of their weapons. They get a backup save. If they have a backup save, they make a backup save and they make it doesn't do anything. So it was either really powerful and pretty unpleasant for anything with a single weapon system, or much or muchness if they have more. Now, again, completely different, rewritten. Now you pick a group and you hack their weapons. You pick one of their weapon systems. When they fire that weapon, if they roll a 1, or every roll they 1 causes them to lose that weapon's unmodified damage and hull points. So it's like anti-overcharge. Interestingly, it stacks with overcharge. So if they are going to fire a weapon that 6s are bad for them, now 1s are also bad for them. Much more fun, I think. Much more interesting. It's not as unpleasant for the opponent necessarily, and obviously they can then. It's when they activate their group, so they can choose not to fire that weapon after all. But if they do that, you kind of done what it used to do. But the agency is now the player you're playing it on, so it's more interactive, which is nice.
Yep. I really like the change to elite ground forces as well.
Yeah.
Because it used to mean that you gain D3 battalions, which kind of felt like the opposite of elite. It felt like I get to have a horde.
Yeah.
Now your ground forces, they stay as numerous, but they just kill twice as many enemy as they lose, and they've got some abilities. They can go hunting for the enemy, whichever feature they're hiding on.
Okay. I mean, it's fitting. It's very fitting for PHR. It's very cool, and yes, that's much more thematic. Like PHR Horde isn't really on brand. Also really useful.
Yeah.
Which is nice. The Akira maneuver is now half the price, and the PHR Vizier, he's the level 1 admiral, I believe.
Yep.
Otherwise, after your movement, the group must turn between 45 and 90 degrees, then continuous activation is normal. Oh, I think previously it said you had to turn 90 degrees. Now it's up to 90. So with the Akira maneuver, rather than turning in your activation, you move forward, handbrake turn, and then fire. Now it's up to a handbrake turn.
Their lightship torpedo launcher, being able to launch 3 torpedoes, is quite spicy.
That's true. That's a tripling in firepower. Or if you launch a single torpedo, it goes further, which is nice. And yeah, they got faster as well, didn't they? I read that correctly.
The torpedoes got faster, yes.
So significantly improved range, or at close range, triple the firepower.
Yep. The torpedoes are still limited 3, so you can just ripple fire your entire load, and then you've got
you're done.
Some close action drones. But yeah.
I think if you're going to hit something with a torpedo, you'll probably be quite happy to fire 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the one would be very, very likely to outright kill it.
I mean, it gets the torpedoes out there, and then they can hang around and go hunting, and you can't have your ship killed before they're launched.
Dying with a ship with torpedoes in the bays. One pretty significant change, or 2 significant changes, are to light calibers and medium calibers across the board. So,
yes,
medium caliber. Let's start with the less interesting one. It's against Fusilier 1. It's fine. It's a little bit better than it was. They haven't gained back medium caliber, medium as a rule. I think that's for the best, just because most ships are medium caliber. They were very difficult to try and make that work, I guess. Now it's just, again, when you're on Weapons Free, +1 shot. Works nicely with Ship of the Line as well.
Before that change, PHR had no fusillade.
Did they not? Okay, well, good. Glad they've gained it.
So, yeah, they've gained it, and an admiral ability that uses it.
Yeah. And then Light Caliber is, I think, the more interesting one. Light Caliber was notoriously rubbish PHR players would say you don't use it. It's lots of shots, but they hit on 5s with light caliber. So they hit light ships on 4s, but the medium caliber hits on 4s and is 2 damage. So you're better off shooting lights with medium weapons. Now it has a very specific role. Light caliber weapons, or light caliber broadside specifically, have all gained re-entry, which is very interesting. So now they're hitting those light ships hiding in atmosphere on 4s.
Yeah, they get to go fishing.
Yes, and there are lots of ships that just have buckets of LCAL weapon broadsides. Now they're going to be an absolute menace over drop sites. They're an alternative to bombardment in some cases as well, if you're bringing them to clear the atmosphere.
No.
No?
So re-entry only works when attacking ships in atmosphere.
That's what I said. If you're trying to clear the atmosphere of ships, it fulfills.
Oh, sorry, you mean using bombardment to shoot at the ships?
Yeah, which was previously the approach, because I don't think PHR had any re-entry. So it was either your corvette or it was bombardment. Now you have a specific tool for clearing those corvettes, clearing those strike carriers out of the way, which is nice to see.
Some of the blockade runners had re-entry, but yeah, absolutely. It means that the light calibers that are there to hunt the light ships can go after the light ships when they hide in atmosphere, as light ships will want to do.
Nowhere is safe, basically.
Yeah, really like that.
Yep.
Heavy calibers seem to have got some more damage as well.
Have they? Yes. At least on some ships. Yeah, the twin heavy caliber on the Cadmus there has gained damage 3. Yes, it looks like all of them, at least so far.
Yeah.
But I think they're 1 shot each, memory serves.
Yeah, heavy calibers don't give you many shots, but usually they're penetrator and do a solid amount of damage, and with a good lock value, which gets even better with caliber heavy.
Yes. One cute change there, I think, just based on the name. The Icarus, its full name is the Icarus Vanguard Carrier. So it's now got Vanguards. I think that's the only reason it gained it, but it fits. Again, all of the battle cruisers have gained Vanguard as well. The Rhadamanthus, I believe that is their close action battleship. Yeah, battleship. Just gained more shots, which is nice. Energy glaives across the board as well. They are their energy broadside weapons. They've gone from damage 1 to damage 2. Many players.
Oh, they've got overcharge as well.
Oh, that's a significant change there. Yeah. I think you've got.
So they go from damage 2 to damage 4.
Right. Okay, that is much more significant than I thought it was. Yeah, thank you. Are you basically following along with the old stats to see what these numbers actually mean?
Yeah.
Good. Caesar has gone up in points. People will be happy to see that, because I know the Caesar was considered the best, or one of the best battleships. Dreadnoughts both gained reinforced armor.
But their backup saves aren't what they used to be.
No. A 4 at backup save with the hull it had, it was never worth even shooting at it.
It was horrific.
Yeah. Now it's probably not worth shooting at, but rather than definitely not worth shooting at. Yeah, I don't have a great deal more to say again, unfortunately, as someone who doesn't know PHR that well. It looks like they have tried to... Well, all 3 of the core broadsides have got up in damage in one way or another. Also, I've got up in... They've been buffed.
Yep.
MCAL's getting
use, yeah.
HCAL's getting damage. LCAL has gained that re-entry. The energy glaives just flat doubling in damage is going to be nice with the overcharge. Flicking through, I didn't see any major nerf, other than again a couple of names I recognise as very, very commonly taken ships, like the Caesar, like the Tusa. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Tusa. Another one that's very, very popular. It's got up in points too.
Yeah, a few points increases, but mostly points reductions.
Yeah.
Mostly more shooty.
The main change, I think, are in the abilities. The admiral abilities have been significant impacts.
I think not being able to change direction to turn on weapons free is going to be a big change for PHR.
Yeah.
I think being able to pivot to bring both of your broadside arcs to bear is a thing you can do, but you're not firing all your guns.
You're missing
I
out
mean,
on
obviously,
fusillades.
ships with only that like one tiny medium caliber turret at the front and then two decent medium caliber broadsides, they still get to do their thing, so they get to be good. But I suspect you might end up with PHR being even less subtle, pointing to middle of enemy fleet,
Yeah.
full steam ahead, fire on both sides.
Speaking of Weapons Free, I do know because I have piloted it in an upcoming battle report. The reason the reason the Caesar in particular is because it's so good is because it has three incredibly powerful, or two very, very powerful front narrow weapons and a front arc, very, very powerful weapon. Now, again, it's going to take a bit more skill to point that at what you want to point it at. If you want to fire everything anyway. Okay. Shaltari. Lots, you've been very quiet while we talk about these humans. And also
I have no idea what humans are, you know? Also, Shaltari looks like the smallest lot of changes, so it might be...
Oh, because they're clearly perfect.
Well, yeah, we know what we're doing.
Okay.
Initially, we've got a clarification on the level 1 commander's core ability to kind of like, you need a gate ship to use it now, and they ping across the two gate ships. It's a cool little ability, but it's a nice change.
Yeah, I think the main change is you can't. It's basically for shunting battalions from one drop site to another through your entire gate chain. But now you can't move more than the final gate ship in the chain.
Yeah, which it probably should have. It makes sense.
Yeah,
you can't overload two gate ships.
Did you ever try the Pungari Thresher space station shenanigans?
I had it used against me.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. This is where. Are you aware of this, Dan?
Is that where you put 60 gazillion 60 gazillion battalions on a space station and then teleport all of them to the top side you care about?
Yeah, because the Pungari Threshers have like 6 bulk landers each or something.
You still them all at the station.
Yeah.
Can't
do it anymore.
No, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
It was silly. The famous commanders look like they've mainly changed for them, which is all good changes. A nice reduction for the one in the diamond, so their little teleportation load is cheaper because it also gives you a gate, which is nice. We've got a bunch of Vanguard appearing on our light ships as we scroll down.
Yeah, I think everything that is the frigate hull has gained Vanguard.
Yes, and a couple of our light cruisers has as well. Yeah.
Now, Shaltari ships are not slow, and they're also not short range.
No, so it's it'd be nice to go on the field. It will help with delayed deployment, and I guess it would help us just be annoying. You know, you go in the flanks with that kind of down the middle, Scourge.
Yeah.
The Opal's changed a little bit, I think, in the sense that you can't get to 2+ shield.
Yeah,
because
this only affects dreadnoughts as the only things that natively have a 3+ shield. You cannot improve it to better than 3+, which is probably good.
It's still a 3+. It's still an amazing save that you can't.
Yeah, it's still fantastic, but it's not quite as unpleasant as it was potentially.
When we get to after the Gallium, we've got some fusillades appearing on some nasty weapons, which is nice. Double the shots on them. So that's idiom. Yeah, so these are burn-through weapons as well. A lot of them are.
Okay, so it's not
very
more
nice.
shots, it's also more save modifiers potentially as well.
Mm-hmm. The Cobalt is increasing its drop, so that's our light mothership. So they actually have a use. They can compete with the large motherships.
Okay, so they can actually, because I've never seen them before. Because
ships
were better.
They've got them twice.
Well,
so the ships are still better, but they can be on the field a turn earlier, depending. So it can make a difference.
Yeah.
The 2 light cruisers have Vanguard 6, which is very speedy, and increased number on their gravity coils. So we might get more turning shenanigans. You need to get the crits through.
Yes, that's why. Didn't Impel change?
I didn't see that change in the first PDF.
I didn't see it in the PDF, and I thought it had changed. It might be because, again, this was a pre-release version of the PDF.
I thought it was changing as well, but I haven't. It's not in it, so unless they've maybe removed it last minute.
I don't think they have. Dan, are you desperately looking up new Impel by any chance?
Yep, no, there is no new Impel.
If it has changed, it's good. If it's
Yes.
as it is, this is still better than it was.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
the new Impel, if it has changed, it's good.
And it's got an extra gun.
Yeah, I don't know if that helps us too much. It only ever had one gun for them. But
Okay.
if you want weapons free, it's 3 more. Yeah.
Not nothing.
With scan 12, close action isn't as close as most people think close action is.
This is true.
Yeah.
Sweet. If you scroll down.
Tell me to stop or start talking if there's something you want to talk about.
I'm just scanning through. We've got a few more actually. The Ruby and the Sapphire. I think they're 2 more cruisers. So there's a few. Actually, it's 3. It's a Gothite as well further down.
Ruby and
Most of
Sapphire
them,
are
actually.
battle cruisers, aren't they?
These are battle cruisers. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice change, but it's still really speedy with Vanguard 6. They're going to be chucking themselves up the field.
Look at the Onyx there. It's gained Reeve 1 and more shots at disintegrated batteries. Does that apply to all of them?
Yes.
Just missing it.
Every disintegrated battery's gone up a shot and got Reeve. So that helps it compete with the standard new other ships that kind of had 8 shots on a lower hit.
Yeah.
So that's a good change.
Volume of fire.
Mm-hmm. Looks like the battleships have gained Scold on the microwave battery, which is just a nice side weapon. Nice little change.
Yep.
The biggest change for me is that the uranium, which is the
Let's go through the uranium for you.
it's cool. It's got loads more shots. It's scary.
All right. Okay. What's changed with the uranium? Oh God,
It's big gun, which has smaller. Has always been. Has now gone to 12 shots. Has burned through 2 on every crit, and it's gained caliber for what it wants to shoot. So it's going to be murdering whatever it looks at.
It's gained caliber everyone except light.
Yeah, well, it doesn't want to shoot light.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, because it's based on your save. It's a +1. So
Oh, because it's more.
critting on 5s.
Okay.
Smaller. That's nasty.
I was gonna say
micro
light doesn't
turrets.
block, but that's fine.
Yeah. The micro turret's nice. 1 more shot. It's a core weapon that's basically guaranteeing a few more damage through. And it gains the harpoon weapons, which is the little core weapon, the close action weapon at the beginning.
Yeah, it's a kinetic weapon. But how many weapons is the uranium?
What's 4, now 5?
It's 5, yeah.
So it's firing 1 additional 1 on general quarters.
Yeah. Which will make a difference because you can do it 2 nasty main guns and 1 on the side, which is good.
Yeah.
And that's everything for Shaltari.
Yeah, just looking for anything else that was noteworthy. It's a bit of a similar sort of thing to what Dan mentioned of the improved drives, more expensive.
A little bit, yeah.
But
We've
yeah.
got a gravity beamer on the Ancrium.
All right, we have double checked. So missing from our version of the changelog, except sure there was something. There is a new version of Impel, so this does quite dramatically affect a lot of things that Shaltari do.
Yeah.
So new version of Impel, lower Impel is better. Impel 1 beats Impel 2. After you attack, you total up however many crits you got. If you got at least X crits, you choose one of these effects following group. You either turn it 45 degrees, or if you've got double X, you turn it up to 90 degrees, which I think is the significant change.
Yeah.
Especially with the Weapons Free change. Or you move it up to twice X in a straight line forward, but you can't throw it off the board or into large objects. So if you have Impel 1, if you get at least 1 crit, turn 45 degrees or move an inch. If you get 2 crits, turn it up to 90 degrees or move it 2+ inches.
Yeah, it means you can't turn back out of being turned. If you did have 2 lots of these, you could turn them 90, drive them forward. Which is pretty nice.
Yeah. So for driving forward, Impel 2 is better than Impel 1. It's harder to get to trigger, but you get to push them further forward.
Yes.
I guess the Impel 2s have a use then.
Impel 2 is for shunting and Impel 1 is for turning?
Maybe.
Is that
the turning thing's the main thing. Being able to turn them 90 degrees, getting the front weapons out of our stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. interesting, and again, that changes quite a few Shaltari weapons. Then it changes the relevance of all these gravity coils you've got.
Yeah, makes them usable, which is cool.
Cool. Any additional thoughts on Shaltari?
Sorry, just looking at
sorry.
the Actinium, the Gravitic Beamer has gained Impel 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 shots with 4+ lock and re-entry.
Huh.
So those strike cruisers that are hanging around near a drop site, if you manage to pop 2 6s on 5 dice, you can spin them 90 degrees and they're flying away from the
Or even worse, just shunt them forward. You know, they do the 2-inch shuffle, stay in 3-inch range the whole game. Well, now they've got to spend 2 turns turning around to come back to the drop sites.
Just
Is
shoot
it
them
good?
away.
I don't know. Is it funny? Yes.
It feels very Shaltari.
It does,
Yes.
yeah. I'm already preemptively irritated. Yeah, not that much for Shaltari. Quality of life with Impel weapons, a few firepower increases. I'm not seeing any enormous points rises.
No, it's mainly drops. So a lot of our stuff's dropped by 10 points across the board, which is nice to see. I think it'll be. I don't know if we needed it with all the factions.
Yeah,
just a little balance.
And then Vanguard on a whole bunch of stuff beyond whatever.
Well, that's very nice. Yeah, I'm very happy with Vanguard. I like going fast.
Yes. Cool. I understand you need to head off because it is silly late. So we're going to
sleep.
Okay.
And you luck with the last two.
Thank you. We will catch you later. Thank you for your help, and we'll continue the other two in just a moment.
Right.
Take care.
All right. So moving on to the last two factions. Let's get these done so we can call it night. It is late.
It is indeed.
So Resistance again. Neither of us play Resistance, but I played against them a fair few times now. Both Sophie and Gareth are big fans. What has changed for them?
So duct tape and bubblegum, there were some quirky little things you could do to make ships invincible. They've really tightened the wording up on that. So
yeah.
No more duct tape and bubblegumming, and then box of scrap thing, and then
it dies. It dies. The end.
It just does. You can only hold it together so long.
Yeah. One really nice change, redundant ship systems was a common take where it used to be you would, for one action point, you would roll twice for the crippling effect, and you, the Resistance player, would pick the result you want on your own ships, which is fine, but didn't guarantee it would do anything. And it was 1 point, and if you really wanted to not suffer a bad crit, you'd just spend 2 points to take +1 damage. Now, redundant ship systems for a single point. Whenever your ship is crippled for any reason, rolls 1d6 rather than 2d6 for a crippling effect. You count a 1 as a 2 just because you can't roll 1 on 2d6, but this means the worst case scenario is you suffer a fire. All the bad stuff happens from a 7 up. So you're not going to have defenses or weapons or engines turned off. Most likely you suffer 1 more damage or a spike or a fire, which is really nice.
Yeah. And it's faster to resolve.
Also that, yeah. Final mission is now 1 action point rather than 2. This is where you have a fire ship basically turn into a boarding pod. Cute. Never Tell Me the Odds, I think, used to give you re-rolls flying through scenery with... I think it's now you can do it when you launch a wing of assets or move or through scenery.
Because launching now counts as moving through it.
Indeed. And then Sabotage is basically identical to the UCM one, to Infiltrate and Sabotage, with an additional sentence at the end, where after rolling you can spend 1 more action point to re-roll the D3 you rolled, and treat this ability as an attack for purposes of removing the feature. I.e., spend an action point to do it, spend another action point, possibly even 3, because it might be 2 base, spend another action point to re-roll the D3.
2 base.
So you're looking at spending 3 action points to re-roll a D3, and if you get a 3, you do 4 damage and delete a feature. I can't see myself burning an action point on it unless it's absolutely critical. I was trying to remove a Janitor Tower or something.
When's the activation phase?
It's after... Oh, the timing is different, that's true. This is after all ships have activated and all ground assets are fired.
So if you've got 3 Admiral points left at that point, no reason not to burn them.
I suppose, yeah. It is before battalion combat, it's before scoring, but again, it's after those ground weapons have fired, for what it's worth. But yeah, if you've got the points, you may as well burn them.
Yeah. Can't take them into the next round.
Well, exactly. big important stuff do we have? So cruiser systems, some pretty significant points drops or firepower increases, or both in some cases. The cost of bulk liners and fire ships have gone up, so drop has gone up by 3 points per module, which is a big deal. Ablative armor, I think, used to give you just +1 to, I think it's energy saves. Now it gives a cruiser reinforced armor and improves their kinetic and energy save by 1 for 12 points.
Ooh, oh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah, that's moving them on to, I think, a 4-up kinetic, 3-up energy. And reinforced armor, they're then really, really quite tanky, actually.
Yeah, and bombardment mortars have gone up as well. I mean, they were so common that there was obviously a problem that they were the best choice.
Yeah, the default settings, I think, was bombardment turrets and launching bulk landers, because being able to shell the drop site and then put your bulk landers on it in the same activation was an obvious choice.
I mean, it's put a cruiser with that up by 9 points. It's not end of the world, but it's just a little nudge of the needle.
Yeah, exactly. The mood effects has gone up to 19 points, so quite an increase, but not quite the full 20. Probably deserved. They were quite good. Heavy frigates have gained reinforced armor, which is interesting. Having that crit defense on a little light ship is
doesn't do that much for them, does it?
You don't think so? Reeve or Scald?
What's their saving throw in the first place?
That I'm not sure.
See, ignoring Reeve and Scald might help if they had armor worth a damn.
Right.
As it is, they've got 4+ energy, 5+ kinetic.
Yeah, okay, all right. It's not doing a whole lot.
Not changing the world.
Okay, fine. You make a good point. The Galileo, the telescope token battery, has been tweaked. Beforehand, your tokens went away at the end of the round. Now they last until the Galileo places another telescope token, or the ship that has been telescoped goes on silent running. This is a nice change for both players. It's sticking around is useful, rather than the weird it clears at the end of the round, where if you do it late in the round it doesn't matter, and so on. But also now some agency for the opposing player. If you've just been telescope tokened and you're staring down the barrel of an Amazon, you can go, all right, fine, silent running. I'll skip a turn to survive.
Yeah, that's nice. The light ships, the Sagittari and the Bellares, gaining vectored. I mean, those things are about 60% mass by engine.
Yep. And I think they're front arc as well on their artillery cannons.
Yeah, they are. But gaining vectored means you can go weapons free and still turn.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not bad, actually, with Fusillade 2 on the Sagittari.
For 30 points, putting out 6 shots on a 4+.
Pretty fast as well, I think, which resistance usually aren't.
Plus 16.
That's
is
very
big.
fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably... Even by Scourge standards, that's nippy.
As you said, they're mostly engine.
Yes.
Yeah, they're probably worse ways to spend 60 points at the end of a list. The Collins is interesting, and this might end up being the lifeblood of resistance fleets. This is your kinetic defense. So this is your little carrier light ship. Its fighter support has changed to wing support. So now any friendly fighters within 6 inches of this ship can be used for close protection against kinetic weapons. So everyone else has lost it. You get to keep rerollable kinetic saves with fighters if the fighters are near the Collins. Which is fair enough.
Which, yeah, given the speed of resistance fighters, that's no hardship.
No. In addition, friendly fighters within range remove 2 bombers each rather than 1, which is really quite a big deal potentially. There's a big bomber wave coming in. But I guess it's got to be when the fighters have to be within 6 when they do so. So that also means the enemy bombers therefore have to be within 6 when they do so. So your Collins has to fly up toward the bomber wave, and get in their way potentially.
Yes.
And finally,
fighters move first and then bombers, don't they? So you can't wait for the bombers to come to you and then pounce on them.
Correct, yeah. But you can stick within range for your rerolls, I suppose, because then you've got 13-inch range on your rerolls. And then finally, the saturation fire at when there are 5 or more bombers instead of 6.
So you negate an extra save.
Yeah.
Yep, that's nice.
Cool. Light cruisers and cruisers, I think both basically, well, all cruisers get a clarification on how their hard points work.
And you can explicitly take up to 2 structures.
Yeah.
It used to be hard capped at 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Gladiator went up in points a little bit, not by much. Lost overcharge on its secondary vent cannons, though, so it only has overcharge on its main turrets now, which means you've got to point it at the thing you want to kill.
The heavy vent cannons have 4 shots, the turret only has 2.
Oh, right, okay. Well, that's a significant firepower reduction then.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. That might hurt, because I know the Gladiator is very popular as the one of the main gunboats.
Oh, yeah, they punch really hard. So,
yeah.
I mean, for their points, I still think they're really solid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All of the... I'm not sure if they're actually called battle cruisers. I think they're called a Gladiator is a Grand Cruiser, and a Senator and so on is a battle cruiser. So all the battle cruisers did gain Vanguard technically. They gained Vanguard 3, which isn't a lot, but it's still...
It's enough to put them on the table.
Let's put them on the table. That's potentially a big deal for the Senator, because you want to get that to an enemy drop site and render it irrelevant.
Oh, it's even better at bombing drop sites.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't quite good enough before.
Oh yeah, Scal 2, good. Fine.
Yeah.
Also good for getting it into scan range of enemy ships, because it can share its close action. If you are within scan range of a Senator, that's not the best way to explain this. Friendly ships, no.
No.
Enemy ships within scan range of a Senator can be targeted with close action weapons from full scan range rather than just close action range. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. If you can get your Senator there faster, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yep. Nice.
Box of scraps on the Triumvir has been simplified. It used to be that when you'd be destroyed, you'd heal D3 damage, but then take the further damage points. Oh, no, sorry, it's just saying when it's destroyed due to damage. It isn't. It was destroyed due to some other source. This is, again, fixing the interaction you said at the start of the section, I believe.
Yeah.
It just straight up repairs enemy ships for 2 hull points that end their activation within 6 bits, which is nice.
Oh, yes. Yep.
The Amazon has picked up Focused on the Spinal Mass Annihilator.
Good.
Yeah, it makes sense.
No more trick shots through 2 frigates.
Yeah, and also no escorts to avoid it.
Upsides, yes.
Yeah, which I think is a major buff, because having that thing rerouted to an escort was very upsetting.
Yep. And then some changes to Dreadnoughts. The Pathfinder is no longer a colossal ship.
Huh. That's interesting. So you do now have a heavy Build-A-Bear ship.
You do.
Oh, that's significant. I didn't even notice that in the first read, but yeah, that's actually very nice, because now you can have an entire fleet of completely bespoke ships. The 10k mass drivers basically became the same as most other mass drivers of that size. They picked up caliber as the main, or picked up penetrator as the main difference.
They had critical 1, they've gone to critical 2, and they've gained penetrator.
Yes.
And they've lost fusillade 2, but they've gained volley 2.
Oh, okay. How many shots were they?
They were 2 shots.
With fusillade 2, now they're 2 shots twice. Without needing to do weapons free.
Yeah.
Scary. Yeah, I mean, that's it for Resistance. Again, we are almost certainly missing some nuance here, but on the whole, it looks like generally a tidy up. Most of this word count is clarifications about how the Build-A-Bear ships work. A few things have been reined in again, like the Gladiator, but no major nerf.
No. The Colonizer has always been Command Ship 2.
Okay.
No longer has 4+ backups. But the Explorer, the smaller, now smallest colossal ship, has gained Command Ship 1.
Oh, that's nice.
That it gives a nice little escalation as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not seeing major changes for resistance. The biggest one, I think, at a glance, the uninitiated, the Collins allowing you to keep those kinetic rerolls for a cost is a big deal. And I'll be interested to see what impacts reinforced armor has on cruiser systems.
Yeah. I think with Dreadhold, I might be quite interested in branching out into a resistance fleet. So
Okay,
good to get these changes out there before they start
start planning.
chucking ships together. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to make sure we get a copy and split it. Right, last but not least, come on, we're nearly there. Bioficers.
Bioficers, yes.
Once again, not our area of expertise, but we can read things out to a camera.
I've played against them.
Yeah, multiple times.
Not so much.
Okay, fair enough. I've played against them a little bit, and I've played against them recently. Played against Luke's Bioficers at FactoruM on Sunday, so some of this is still fresh in my head. Abilities, first of all, so forcing an unfair fight used to be a little bit weird, in that both you and your opponent rolled a d6 and added that many battalions to a contested drop site. It was weird. It wasn't always useful. I think I'm remembering that correctly. Its main niche was using it with Janitor Tower shenanigans to put some more troops on a drop site and then make them kill each other and get even more.
Yep.
It doesn't do that anymore. Now you start activation phase, pick a drop site you can test, add a friendly battalion to every feature on that drop site. At the beginning of the cleanup step at the end phase, basically the end of the round, remove a friendly battalion from each feature on that drop site. So kind of like elite ground forces in some ways, you temporarily boost your damage output, or in this case, your resilience as well with battalions, but at the end it all clears.
Yeah. Nicely different to the Scourge one.
Yeah, it's the Scourge one I'm thinking about, isn't it? Not elite ground forces.
Scourge simulated bioforms gives you D3 extra battalions that only last until the end of the round.
Right.
But you can have them be the ones that die, and then
Sure.
you don't lose them at the end of the round because they're already dead because you've sent in the newly assimilated forms. Whereas Bioficers, that's a debt you have to pay off.
Yeah. What's interesting about this is that when you attack from a drop site, you select all of your battalions, and they either attack the drop site or they attack a feature. So if the opponent has, in this case, say, 3 single temporary battalions on 3 different features, for this round, if it's, say, a scoring round, and they've just got a massive chunk of troops on the center drop site, they can't clear the Bioficer player, because it can only hit one feature.
But this doesn't help you, because you then lose them again at the end of the round. What it helps is if that scenario is reversed, if you've got 1 battalion on each of 3 features and the Bioficer's got the big blob.
Right. Yes.
Suddenly, a Bioficer battalion pops up on each feature, kills your battalion, and then they fall apart if they weren't already dead.
Okay, right. You are correct. I'm tired.
Yep.
But yes, that either way, potentially useful. Precision Strike it was egregious, and then it was probably nerfed into being not very useful, and now it's back to probably okay. It's now 2 action points. Pick a weapon system, improve block by 1. And then unsportsmanlike behavior has gone down in cost, down to 3 AP. During this round's cleanup phase, all players retain any unspent AP from the round into the next round. In the next round, I think this is the change, only players that have used this ability this round can generate AP in the planning phase. So if you're up against someone who doesn't have this ability, which is most people, you spend 3 points, you keep any change, and you also gain points next round, your opponent does not. But they also get to carry over anything they haven't spent at that point. I can see some fun mind games happening with that. Because the Bioficer player gets to look at how many AP each player has and then decide to use it or not at the end of the round.
Yes. Yeah, that could be fun, but finishing around with 3 admiral points is a
unlikely
chunk of change.
Yeah. But I guess...
But there's nothing that stops you doing it again the next round. So if you've had 4, spend 1, spend 3 on this, Next turn, your opponent who'd spent all of their admiral points still
Yes.
doesn't get any.
Yeah, and you get your full set that round.
You go back up to 4, save 3 for doing this. You get to spend a point in the turn.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you've got your admiral in a Vanguard ship, like a battlecruiser, have them start on the board, that gives you 4 AP. What are you spending AP on round 1? A reroll, maybe. And then you round 2, when the action starts, you go, cool. I generate AP this round, you don't.
and then the opposing admiral arrives and can't generate AP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of potential for, as it says, unsportsmanlike behaviour. What else have we got? Atom, one of the named admirals, got a couple of buffs to basically make him usable. Beforehand, he was really, really not very good. Now, his bombardment weapon will never remove troops from a drop site that has a Janitor Tower. Or, sorry, will not remove them from the Janitor Tower, even.
Yep.
So you can tilt the ground battle in your favour, and he also gained an anti-ship version of his weapon, as well as his bombardment version. This is a big one, and is going to instantly break a particular Bioficer build, probably for the better. Torpedoes are faster, which is nice. They're now thrust 12, but they disappear in the end phase. They do not stick around. The one of the go-to Bioficer builds currently is Torpedo Cell Spam.
Yep.
Where you just flood the board because they're not limited with infinite torpedoes, and yeah, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to find something else.
If you want to see what my fight, flight, freeze reaction is, the freeze reaction was exhibited when I'd got to the end of reading the first line of increased torpedoes thrust from 9 to 12. That sounded terrifying, but then yeah, absolutely, that second paragraph is huge.
Yeah. It's still 18-inch strike range from a cell, which is sometimes going to be outside retaliation range, in fact. And the torpedoes are still decent. I think they've got Corruptor. And again, nothing other than ships exploding blocks a torpedo. So they're still going to be very usable. But the old build is dead. Probably for the best.
Yeah, you can't sit at the back pumping out a wave and having that hit turn 3 or turn 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
Janitor Tower went down in points. But now, doesn't matter how many towers you have on a drop site. If you have one or more Janitor Towers on a drop site, you gain 2 battalions when it triggers.
Yep.
I think you could use previously towers to trigger other towers, and it was very silly. The Supercell and the Prism can both combine their Aegis as if they were in a group. As long as they're within 6 of each other.
Yeah. Nice, but not world shaking.
Yeah. The Summoner Cell explicitly ignores intervening scenery, so you can now teleport wings, moving them up to 18 inches away. But they do not counter moving through scenery with that move. Which is nice.
Yep.
Logics are now a more convenient group size because you get 2 in a box, and they were group size 1 to 3.
They used to be rare.
They used to be rare. They're not rare anymore. Which
they are still rare.
They are still rare?
Nothing
yes, they are. Nothing there is removing rare. Yes. You're right. Never mind. Ignore us. They were at one time not going to. They were going to not be rare anymore, but no, they are still rare. Okay, and then we're into the actual ships.
Yeah, so light vices have had an across-the-board change.
Yes.
Boosts up their average damage, and it makes it a whole lot less spiky. They've got a bunch more attacks, but a bunch less damage.
Yeah. Yeah, so it should be a lot more consistent, a lot less frustrating to use. They've gained focus, at least on the basic light vice, which I guess means you can avoid an escort, which is nice.
Yep.
Barbs have gone from Reeve 1 to Reeve 2, so they're even pokier at punching through armor.
That's quite spicy. Yeah, I like that.
High damage as well.
Monitors have got faster, given the horrific core damage bombardment monitor. That's quite scary.
Yep.
And the Monarch has got 50% more launch.
Nice. The Matrix, if memory serves, was a bit of a weird one where no one was quite sure what it's supposed to be armed with. It previously had torpedoes. Now it has boarding pods, which is cool. It launches 2 boarding pods. It's a dedicated boarding craft. I don't think I've ever seen a Matrix. I'm not sure if it'll ever get in range to board anything at thrust 6, but in principle, it has its uses. Are you checking what it used to be?
Yes. I'm confused by the line that says increase boarding pods load from 1 to 2.
I think its torpedo load previously 1.
It was, yes. It was Oh, okay.
So replace 1 torpedo with 1 boarding pod, and then replace it from 1 to 2 boarding pods.
Okay, yes. So you're changing the word torpedo to boarding pods, and you're changing the launch value from 1 to 2.
Yes, in a roundabout fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's late. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Sides getting more attacks, and in combination with the change to the Admiral ability, I think that's still okay because I think them changing to Reeve instead of Burn Through, which was last balance pass, I think that still makes them fine. I quite like that.
On release,
Bisectors, the thing that cuts ships in half can only cut 1 ship in half at a time.
Which makes sense. But again, it'll bypass an escort.
Yep.
Again, same trends there for heavy light vices. So more shots, lower damage, but higher maximum and average damage.
Yeah, that's quite a buff to the average. That's going from 6 maximum up to 10 maximum.
Yep. It's quite frightening.
That's a 50 odd % increase.
Yeah, and I believe all sides have gone from Fusillade 2 to Fusillade 3. As you said earlier, a bit harder to actually get it on target now because Weapons Free has limitations, but if you can, you'll be rewarded for the effort. The Ghost Orbs are more accurate. They are the status weapons. Yes, they are.
Yep.
Close action status. Obviously, status isn't anywhere near as horrific as it used to be. That's actually one of the biggest nerfs, if you like, to Shaltari, is they had loads of status weapons. They still do have loads of status weapons, but they are nowhere near as horrific as they used to be. Save applies here, but it's locks improved, so you'll apply the status more often at least. Cavern, Combine. Not sure what with, but I assume that's a typo.
Combine is a
it's a ship
type. It should have the blue
yes,
font.
that makes sense. Okay. Again, so Barbs up to Reeve 2, as we've already seen.
Yeah.
So think at a glance, basically, every weapon choice, every weapon choice I can think of has been improved. Or not every, most of all. Sides, more shots for Fusillade. Light vices, higher average damage, higher max damage, less spiky. And Barbs improved Reeve.
On Reeve. Yeah.
So pretty significant firepower increases, which is probably a good thing because they felt a bit toothless as the last balance pass, I think.
Yeah.
They've defaulted to the torpedo spam build because, according to some bio players, that's all they had. They should add a bit more variety back in.
Then we get to a few other changes. So, battleships, 4+ backup saves.
Nope.
Is there any 4+ backup saves left in the game?
Yes, I think he said confidently. No. Even the resistant ships lost it. There might be a cell that's got a 4-up backup. Actually, I could be wrong.
Okay, but when you've only got 1 or 2 damage, that's a bit less.
Yeah.
Than the high 20s of battleships.
Exactly.
PHR death.
Regardless of how the maths works out, I don't know if you had the pleasure of playing against the 4+ backup save battleship. No, it's just a miserable experience. I appreciate that it's basically just a whole multiplier mathematically, but it often meant it didn't feel like it was worth shooting at the ship because you could fire big guns and they could just bounce. Obviously, that can always be the case. But yeah, nice to see it go away. They're still great. They have lower hull than most, but the bio battleships are 6.6. That's the signature of most cruisers.
Yep.
And they still have a 3-up energy, 3-up kinetic. So they're still taking some abuse before they collapse.
Yeah, they are only hull 17.
Yeah.
I mean,
if I compare them to UCM 1, they are 3 fewer hull, 1 better energy save. That's 6/6 rather than 6/10.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem unreasonable. And they've gained some firepower increases in return. Because again, we're seeing the same thing. The Grand Bisector is now 5 damage 3 shots with focus. So again, it should carve through enemy capital ship. It'll absolutely carve through cruisers.
Yeah.
The Giga Winnower, which will be one of the most fun named weapons in the game, which I think is just an absurd number of shots, is also now caliber L, so it has a specific role. Have you seen how many shots it is?
15 shots, Fusillade 5.
Okay. Lock. What lock is it?
3+.
So, okay, so 20 2+ lock shots versus light ships if you really want them to go away.
Yeah,
they will go away.
they will vanish, and it's energy damage as well. So I don't think there's any light ships that's got a fantastic energy save.
I don't think so. But yeah, that's it. No major points changes. None of the battleships changed in points other than the Brutal that got cheaper, which is the Giga Winnower standard battleship rather than super battleship, if memory serves.
Yeah.
And again, all of the battle cruisers gained Vanguard 6 as well.
So Bioficers, I don't understand how they're supposed to work. I mean, most fleets, you've got your cruiser hull dropships, which have got a bit of robustness to them. They can hang around and survive. Or you've got your frigate strike carriers that can hide in Atmo. Bioficers don't have either of those. They've got their logics and they've got their cells, which have to stay in orbit.
Yeah.
And they're quite squishy. And their guns are great and they can dish out the damage, but kill the enemy faster than they can kill your super squishy things isn't a play I can see how it works. I mean, obviously it doesn't. There's people out there winning with them. But I think I need to play more. I need to play against more Bioficers and figure out how that works.
Yeah, I agree. I've not really seen how they're supposed to work either. And interestingly, nothing in this addresses that.
No.
Logics are... You can take them in bigger groups now.
One more per group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are still rare, so that adds 2 logics. No.
Yeah.
There's still no way to really protect cells. I mean, this is coming from 2 people who don't play Bioficers and barely played against them. So again, we're quite possibly missing a trick here. It might be you play them very conservatively because I think you are almost as good a scan as Shaltari and also Tiny Signature. So maybe you don't drop at all until round 3, or even round 4 potentially, and you don't commit your cells until late. But if you're keeping your cells on board your cruisers, well, your cruisers are made of tissue paper, so if the opponent does shoot them, they do die. And if they die with cells on board, that's the game potentially. Yeah, it's interesting. I'd be interested to know how they are supposed to work because we had quite a few bounce passes now, and that's not okay. One of them, they went from hull 1 to hull 2 on their cells, which was significant and still potentially not significant enough. It might be this will bring them back to how they were at release, where they have such blistering firepower, they can clear the enemy faster, or clear them off the ability to drop. And then bring in their drop later, almost as an afterthought.
Yeah.
And no, but we'll have to get Gareth and other Dan to play some buyers on the channel and help us figure out how they're supposed to play and what we're missing. Leaving aside the lack of changes to drop, it looks like a pretty good bounce pass for Bioficers. Again, lots of firepower increases. Not seeing any.
And then,
go on.
Yeah. No, I was. If you're still talking bios, carry on. I was going to skip on to the last little bits.
Yeah, I was going to say, looks good for them. Yes, final few bits. So miscellaneous and event ships. Pungari freshers.
Yes, fewer boarding pods for you, Pungari.
Which makes sense. Couple of clarifications. Fleet space stations no longer count as drop sites for scoring. You cannot bring along your own pocket of victory points. which is an improvement. You can still bring them as batteries for weapons, whatever else they bring, but yeah, you can't just bring a small space station for 35 points and get +2 victory points.
Yeah.
Which is for the best.
And the Palatine has got a slight buff as well, which is the only way that PHR can get. Is it the only way they can get Detector? It's certainly the only way they can get Command Ship.
Currently, yes, it's the only way they can get Detector. We have seen from the PHR battlecruiser that was shown off at UK Games Expo, and at GenCon as well, I think. One of the battlecruiser's deployable features is some sort of scanning tower. So that may be changing, but yes, at time of recording, this is your only access to Detector as PHR. Yeah. Which can take shots while on silent running, which is nice.
It can.
And also it can detect and shoot on Weapons Free.
Yeah.
Other than that, UCM space stations were brought in line with the launch that every other UCM thing launches. Defense hangar went down. 50 points actually isn't bad for launching, I believe, 2 fighters and bombers. They can't move, but it doesn't need to.
Yep. Yeah, I think the change to the stations is the biggie there.
Yeah, that's the main one, isn't it? Now if you're going to bring them for their firepower, not for silliness. That's it. Made it to the end. It's not quite midnight. So, Dan, hot take: biggest winner, biggest loser?
I mean, I'm a Scourge player. I'm really happy with this change. I think it's breathed a whole lot of life into Scourge. I went to the trouble of magnetizing my cruiser's weapon options. I'm really glad I did now. Before the balance pass, I may as well have just glued the Oculus weapons on and left them there because I never used anything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, really excited to try out some combos with that. I think PHR, have done quite well as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, no revolutionary things, but just really honing in on the niche of the different caliber weapons and just trimming the talons slightly of their biggest predator, the UCM.
Yeah, which is fair. UCM have been top of the table for a while. I think people describe them as Dropfleet on easy mode or too cheap or whatever. And yeah, most of the changes were points increases, which were not unwarranted. I have tried to write a few lists since the changes, and the points changes are significant enough to make that quite difficult in some ways. A lot of the good stuff I like to bring doesn't quite fit in as well as it used to. And due to the points all changing in, again, not neat little increments, it's not just a case of, all right, I take one fewer frigates. It's having knock-on effects, and it's then starting to change builds a little bit. But even for the UCM, lots of things have suddenly got a lot more interesting. Again, I'm really keen to try out a Venice. Take advantage of that Vanguard rule, that new Weapons Free rule. I think there are a bunch of Washington is another one I want to try with the new Weapons Free rule because it can actually fire all its guns and launch. Yeah, I think UCM probably came off the worst or the heaviest hit, but still got a lot of interesting tools added to their toolkit.
They did. Fighter rerolls not working on kinetic saves helps UCM, I think, as much as it helps PHR and Resistance.
Yeah, it definitely helps more than it hinders. I mean, I wasn't usually using them anyway. I was usually thinking a 3-up save is good enough. And it's a really important one. I've got actual rerolls to spend. Whereas, yes, it will increase their firepower somewhat.
I think, more people using it against you.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it boosts the UCM firepower because so much of your stuff is railguns.
Yes, absolutely. Which will now go through particular resistance a lot more effectively. But I may have to target those Collins and try and bring them down first. Cool.
Collins still work even if they're on silent running, don't they?
That's the reason why not. We can check, in fact.
Yeah, I can see those Collins.
Effect.
Yeah. Silent running behind a debris cloud.
Don't mind me.
Yeah.
Well, that's what my new Lock 3 Corvettes are for, I suppose. It'll be interesting. Yeah, closing thoughts?
I mean, as you said earlier, the game's really young. I think each balance pass is bringing it into a better and better place.
Yeah.
Really excited to see what comes next. But yeah, I think really good for the overall game.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I know that, again, that there are a number of version 1 veterans who feel like some of the strategy or some of the tactics were lost in transition from 1 to 2. It may have been the case, but even just little incremental things like changing how Weapons Free works, I think will have massive knock-on effects. And yeah, looks good. I am very keen to get some more games then.
Yep.
Right, it is 11:59 where we are. So let's call it there.
Finish today.
Let's finish today. I will see if I can we won't, because we're going to have to wrap it through the sales pitch. Guys, if you enjoy watching our videos, listening to us ramble about toy soldiers or spaceships and so on, make sure to do all of the YouTube stuff like liking, commenting, subscribing, tell us what we missed in the details of PHR and Resistance and so on. All of that helps the channel grow. It gets in front of more people and so on. If you want to support us financially, there are a bunch of ways you can do so. We have a Patreon linked in the description. Any money you give to the Patreon just goes straight into the channel for better lights, better cameras, more terrain, that sort of thing. There's nothing behind the paywall, so you don't actually get any content from it, but it's essentially charity. It's putting money toward a good cause. We also have an affiliate link with Firestorm Games. If you've been following along and gone, right, I need to rebuy my entire fleet, well, if you buy from Firestorm, you get some money off RRP. They stock all of the Dropfleet and Dropzone and so on ranges. And anything you buy through the affiliate link in the description, we get a small kickback, which is much appreciated. If you want to come play Dropfleet with us, we have an event coming up in the very near future, actually now. On the 6th of September, we have Weapons Free. That is at Firestorm Games in Cardiff. That'll be a one-day event with 3 games at 1,500 points. Gareth has been slaving away, making a whole bunch of insane narrative missions. Every single table has its own mission, which are looking very fun. I'm going to have to try some out on the channel at some point soon. Dave Lewis will be in attendance. So, as I've said a couple of times now, on the record, he has not said he's bringing anything new to show us. But every other time he's been seen in public, since Dropfleet 2 was announced, he's brought something along. So he might. And then we have the sister game, Dropzone, has its own event, Weapons Free, on the 18th and 19th of... No, not Weapons Free, I'm tired. Danger Close.
Danger Close 5.
That's the one. On the 18th and 19th of October, also at Firestorm Games. And that's, as you can see, it's a 2-day event. 3 games at 1750 on Saturday. 2 games at 2k on the Sunday. But if you can only make it to 1, you can just come for the Saturday. You obviously can't win the event, but there is an undefeated pin if you win all 3 games. And again,
we have someone confirmed as coming from America as well, so this makes it an international Dropzone tournament.
World Championship is what I'm going with.
Oh, Championship. Okay. And yes, as you say, Dave Lewis is also said he wants to come.
Yes, said he will come. Barring disaster, I think was the exact wording. So again, hopefully he'll be there. And it's called the World Championship. It's not. It's a narrative day. It's the same sort of thing. Every table has its own silly narrative mission with both terrain and so on. All the events we've run so far have been great. They've got bigger and bigger. So if you can make it to any of these, it'd be great to see you. I think that is the sales pitch done. It has now definitely gone midnight. So let's call it there then. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for sticking with us this long.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.